violated any rule. I used the rule that is there that can be applied by the Speaker when the Speaker has to issue out or finalize the order paper. Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Van Vuuren.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, we met as a Works Committee a couple of times in the last 3-4 weeks. 3-4 weeks ago, we decided that we're going to have 60-minute debates. Then yesterday, the Chief Whip came with a new proposal that we should change it to 90 minutes. So we all actually decided that it should be shorter, and we should allow for everything and our democratic right to actually hold the executive accountable. Now, the new Chief Whip, which actually...
Can we hear that point of order? Honourable members, I will encourage this House to debate a matter that has provision in the rules. But I will allow Honourable Shufi to raise a point of order. The Speaker has the final say in the order paper. And I did that with consultation because I did write, the Whips Committee recommend, but they don't force what they decide in the Whips Committee. Honourable Peter Way, don't stand. Proceed, Honourable.
No, thanks, Speaker. It's a wrong platform to discuss and recap minutes of the Whips Committee, multi-party Whips Committee. So the member is out of order. You have made a ruling, the matter must be closed. We can't recap minutes of that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Sheffield. The order is sustained. Honourable Van Vuuren, the order is sustained. You are not going to continue.
The Speaker, I'm not finished. You
no,
can sustain something.
You
can't sustain something if I haven't finished.
No, Honourable Van Vuuren. When a person raises an order, Honourable Van Vuuren.
They say we must change this because we want to speak to the people of Kwakwa.
Honourable
the people of Kwakwa is not here.
Honourable
so why should we change it?
In terms of the rules, you must listen
to have this
out.
There's no people here. There's only officials sitting here.
Honourable
what you're doing is wrong. Speaker, you know what? You lost the dignity.
Honourable Van Vuuren, I'm going to, if you are unprepared to listen, I'm going to request you to leave this house. This matter is closed. It's not going to be debated further. There are rules that are there. I did not violate any rule. And nobody has a right to force a person to act on their opinion if that opinion is not based on the rules. We are going to proceed with motions in terms of Rule 58 to 60. Now we proceed to motion the Secretary. Is that a point of order? I hope the point of order is not on the matter that I ruled on. Proceed, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My point of order is not on the matter that you already ruled on. It is on a matter of privilege that when a member stands up on a point of order, that they be allowed to complete their point of order and then you take the next point of order. I've never heard that you have a point of order on a point of order. You don't even know what the other point of order is. So allow the members to complete their point of order and then you take the next point of order. You cannot interrupt a member who's busy with a point of order. You've already given the floor on another point of order. Speaker, this is unheard of. And you've been here long enough, you should have to know how points of order work. Thank you.
I'm happy that you recognize that when a member raises a point of order, the other member cannot raise a point of order. But what Honourable Chairperson was raising was not a point of order. He was telling us about the meeting of the Whips Committee, which has no business in this House today. Honourable members, let's proceed. The Secretary shall read motion 1.
That leave be granted for the second reading debate on the appropriation bill number 2 of 2023, vote 5 yes.
Honorable members, the vote before the House is vote 5, health. The Honorable MEC, Ms. Lieto, may address the House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker Mezanele Sifuba, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier Mtolisi Tukwana, members of the Executive Council, members of the Legislature, commissioners of Chapter 9 institutions, executive mayors, speakers and councillors, Director General HODs, municipal managers, CEOs of government entities, and members of the senior management and government protocol.
Honorable MC, could you please pause and take a seat? I see a hand of Honorable Jambisi.
Honourable Speaker, in all the years I've been here, we always receive copies of the speeches before the MEC speaks, and we can follow it as members. It seems just certain members might have copies of the speech on that side of the House, but the opposition members this side don't have copies. So it seems the ANC have copies and not the opposition. Could you please correct that? These members in front here have copies. It seems it's a privileged few.
Honorable members, what Honorable Jambisi is raising, unfortunately, is true. The members were supposed to have the copies of the speech. If members sitting here don't have those copies, it means that was not supposed to happen. We are going to make a follow-up because I think this is an administrative issue. We are going to make a follow-up to find out what transpired because really members are supposed to be having those copies before them. Please proceed, Honorable MEC.
Honorable Speaker, we are humbled to have an opportunity to table the 2023-24 budget vote 5. This budget is presented under the following theme: the year of decisive action to advance the people's interest, provide healthcare services and save lives. This theme will be our baseline as we continue to do our work, because our responsibility is to serve our people and account to them on the progress we are making when we spend the budget allocated to the department. The 2023-24 budget vote is presented just a few weeks before the commemoration of a historic day in the liberation calendar of our country. On the 27th of April 2023, South Africa will commemorate the 29th anniversary of the first free elections when South Africans were given rights to choose the government of their choice. As we celebrate the Freedom Day, we will always cherish our heroes and heroines who tirelessly and selflessly defeated and ended the apartheid system, working side by side with the masses of our people. The commemoration of Freedom Day should serve as an inspiration to us and acknowledge that we need to move with speed to continue to realize the National Democratic Revolution. Honorable Speaker, in 2018, the Presidential Health Summit was held with various stakeholders for critical consultation and set of identified interventions to which we unequivocally commit as the Free State Department of Health, and which we shall uncompromisingly account to the stakeholders and consumers of the service packages we offer. These pillars, which for us are a call to duty and to convert into strategic objectives or government's program of action upon are the following. I'm not going to read them. Through the forthcoming medium-term strategic framework and aligning our programs of action with the aforementioned pillars and the predetermined objectives year on year, our 2023-27 commitments would be to enable the legal framework created for the implementation of National Health Insurance Bill and universal health coverage, and roll out quality improvement program in public health facilities to ensure they meet quality standards required for certification and accreditation for NHI. Improve quality of primary health care services through expansion of the Ideal Clinic program and expand the primary health care system by considering the state of community health workers in the public health system with a view of absorbing them within the existing resources constraints or other means possible, working with strategic partners. To strengthen the 6 core standards of quality healthcare services provision, which include facilities opening on time, having adequate staff with good attitude, safety and security for patients and staff, availability of medicines, infection control, and cleanliness. Honorable Speaker, in the 2022-23 financial year, an amount of 12,711 billion was allocated to the 12,711 million was allocated to the department, which increased by 3.7% to 13,182 million, following the budget adjustment of November 2022. I therefore rise to table the 12,759 million budget for 2023-24 financial year. The department has allocated the department as follows. For administration, 332,145,000. For district health services, 5.5 billion. Emergency services, provincial hospitals, central hospitals, health sciences, healthcare support services, and health facilities infrastructure management. The aim of the administration program is to conduct the strategic management and overall administration of the Department of Health. This includes policy formulation, overall management, and administration of the department and the respective districts and institutions within the department to ensure service effectiveness. As part of building the capacity of the department, Program 1 was allocated 311 million, as I mentioned. On litigations, the department is encouraged by the Special Investigating Unit proclamation signed by the State President, His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, for the investigation into medico-legal claims. We have noticed a huge progress resulting from similar investigations done in the Eastern Cape, and we take courage of the latest Eastern Cape High Court ruling on the future medical care costs. We will continue to build the capacity of the state through human resource capacity, and the department currently has 19,273 field posts. Of this, 940 posts, 3.893 professional nurses, 2,210 assistant nurses, 130 pharmacists, 1.31 staff nurses, and 10,786 that are in the other categories of healthcare workers. We shall endeavor to fill critical posts, including hospital CEOs which are vacant and district directors in the 2023-24 financial year. The Department of Health will not be able to achieve its health outcomes without the support and cooperation of governance structures, as they are a critical link between the department and the community. The department has appointed and trained hospital boards for all our hospitals to empower them for the effective execution of their responsibilities. We are, however, still challenged with the functionality and effectiveness of the clinic committees, especially in the Lejwe-Leputswa district. At the moment, only 165 of the targeted 188 clinic committees are operational. We rely on the cooperation with SALGA, local government, community development workers, community-based organizations, and leaders across all the sectors to get our district health councils, hospitals, boards, and clinic committees to a level where they will function effectively. As the Department of Health will continuously interact with the communities on issues that affect their health. The MEC for Health and Management of the department will continue to utilize taking primary health care to the people as a platform for community engagement and to bring services closer to the people. Honorable Speaker, 4IR is here. We are intentionally in upscaling our investment in information and community technology as a catalyst to an effective health system. In the current financial year, we completed development of an electronic invoice tracking system to monitor the payments of suppliers within 30 days. We are still not doing well on that responsibility of ensuring that they are paid in 30 days. This system will be implemented in 2023-24 to address non-payment of services. I'm happy to announce that we have established a working relationship with the Eastern Cape Department of Health that will see us roll out a patient information system at all district hospitals to improve patient care, revenue generation, and mitigation against the increasing medico-legal exposure. We'll implement this project in 12 hospitals during 2023 financial year. This is part of aggressive attempts to modernize public health through digitizing health services. This program will include the back scanning of paper-based patient files. Over and above this, we have heeded the call of Government Lekgotla for the department to utilize technology as much as possible to improve the services we render in the communities. In the coming financial year, we will invest in the following bucket technology-driven interventions. I'm not going to read them, Honorable Speaker, because of time. I would go to EMS. In this financial year, we noted that the ambulances management is a challenge in terms of them arriving in time to our people. We have committed ourselves through the EMS College to conduct an outreach training program for first aid to empower 150 of youth in our communities with skills. This is done with the objective of encouraging our people to attend to basic health challenges like treating burns and other minor ailments that ambulances are often called for. We cannot succeed if we work alone as the department without the involvement of the community. The college offers a number of qualifications, including higher certificate and diploma in emergency care. This is done in collaboration with the University of Johannesburg with the Memorandum of Agreement, which is valid till 2025 with a phasing out approach, provided the college obtain its own accreditation with the Council of Higher Education, and we will endeavor to ensure that we do get that accreditation as the province. Currently, we have 4 students that are graduated with a higher certificate, and there were 21 new enrollments in 2023 academic year. 8 students graduated with diploma, 805 employees were trained and upgraded on the latest clinical practice guidelines. 100 ambulance officials were trained in rescue operations. The college has successfully launched an online training platform called Tuto Encha to address the upgrading of EMS staff on the clinical practice guidelines. Honorable Speaker, during the current financial year, the department implemented skills program targeting unemployed youth. The internship program implemented our own work integrated learning and graduate internship program. 2 skills development programs were implemented. 108 TVET learners appointed for work integrated learning on 8-month contract, and 40 of these were funded. 166 graduates were appointed for an internship program on 24 months. The Free State School of Learning is the backbone sector of the department, and we need to sustain the inflow of new skilled nurses. We have determined the need to restructure the curriculum to be in line with the current requirements of the profession. The school has reopened the 4 sub-campuses for nursing education and training of learners in higher certificate in nursing. In order to modernize our andragogy in response to the demand for remote learning, we have implemented electronic learner management system, which is accredited by the South African Nursing Council and Council of Higher Education to offer the following programs: 1-year advanced diploma in midwifery for 90 students per year. The first intake will be in January 2024. A 3-year diploma in general nursing for 155 students per year. And also 1-year higher certificate in auxiliary nursing for 155 students per year. There are currently 44 community health workers studying towards a higher certificate in auxiliary nursing in 2023. On COVID-19, the department's strategy to appoint and strengthen our surveillance at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic yielded good results. While it is difficult to tell the end of this pandemic, experts are already predicting that the next one may also come. In this financial year, we renewed COVID-19 contract appointments of 1,689 to strengthen health services because the grant given to us by National was reduced. It goes without saying that healthcare workers are at the heart of any strong healthcare system throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Frontline workers, which include community health workers, have selflessly risen to the challenge, whether it was caring for the sick, making sure that vaccines reach most vulnerable, testing and reporting cases, or keeping routine healthcare services going. Their efforts have been immense. The physical and emotional strain of the pandemic on healthcare workers has been invaluable. To try and protect them against future pandemics, healthcare workers must be prioritized more than ever. That means providing them with the necessary training, making sure that they are first in line for vaccines, and they are emotionally supported. This support is needed to equip healthcare workers to do their job properly, but also to ensure that the profession continues to be appealing, attractive, and does retain the talented and dedicated people. We are proud to have attained 60.2% coverage of the eligible population vaccinated against COVID-19. This places the Free State in leading position in the whole country. We continue to encourage our communities to vaccinate at any of our clinics because COVID-19 is still here. All public health facilities are now COVID-19 vaccination sites. The lessons we have learned from the pandemic include, but not limited to, strengthen disease surveillance and outbreak response at a district level, use of digital tools for tracking and tracing, as well as public-private collaboration on healthcare provision. This was a clear demonstration that the implementation of the NHI is imperative. Honorable Speaker, clinical services aim to render primary healthcare services, including community and facility-based services, forensic pathology services, district, provincial, tertiary, and central hospitals. These services are the core business of the department. The clinical health services are primarily concerned with the reduction of comprehensive healthcare services. The department has always been inundated by complaints about long queues at some of our facilities. In order to mitigate against this, we have introduced chronic medication pickup points and distribution points closer to where our people live. We have also implemented an appointment system at primary healthcare facilities. However, we are still experiencing challenges at facilities surrounding densely populated areas. It is for this reason that we continue to build new clinics within the confines of our resources. We will also increase those that are distributing chronic medication to our people in this new financial year. On the reduction of incidences and preventable death due to communicable diseases, On HIV and AIDS, the department is focused on implementing the HIV 95-95-95 strategy, which entails intensifying HIV prevention, case finding, and treatment. The strategy focuses on getting 95% of HIV positive people knowing their status, 95% of those that know their HIV status being on antiretroviral treatment, and 95% of those on treatment viral being suppressed. Honorable Speaker, I'm proud to announce that to this August House, the Free State Province performed better than any other province in the country, as at November 2022. 4 of the 5 Free State districts managed to be among the top 13 of the 52 districts in the country on achieving the previous strategy of 1990, while the country has moved to the revised 95-95-95 strategy. Thabo Mofokeng district, with the support of the USAID Right to Care, is the second best performing district in the country towards achieving the 95-95-95 targets. The current performance of the Free State is 94-86-93. We are confident we will reach the target by intensifying community and index testing, welcoming clients who were lost to follow up back to our clinics, and strengthening treatment compliance through adherence clubs. We will also work with the NGOs that are in this space and make sure that we intensify our outreach program, because ours is to save lives. The HIV prevention strategies include condom distribution, medical male circumcision, and pre-exposure, which is implemented for HIV-negative people who are at risk for contracting HIV and has been rolled out to all facilities. The total number of clients remaining on antiretroviral treatment since the inception of rollout of the ART program in the province is 310,224. We will initiate an additional 32,664 new eligible clients on antiretroviral treatment in the 2023 financial year. On TB, Honorable Speaker, TB remains amongst the leading causes of death in the Free State. One of the contributing factors is high loss of follow-up on TB patients was experienced at the height of COVID-19. The province implemented a successful catch-up plan to bring back clients who were lost to follow-up back on treatment. Maternal child health and nutrition remains an apex priority of healthcare service provision. For the first time in 3 years, our hard work is beginning to bear fruits as maternal mortality in facility ratio has declined from 156.5 to 124 per 100,000 lives. The mortality was reduced from 15.3 per 1,000 life births to 11.9 the previous financial year. The department is implementing both the clinical outreach and programs to improve the skills of our healthcare workers for reduction of mortality and morbidity rates and for safe deliveries. On reproductive health, the department is on course to contribute to the reduction of teenage pregnancies through awareness, integrated school health programs, and youth-friendly zones at primary healthcare facilities. I'm proud, Honorable Speaker, to announce that 137 of our 223 primary healthcare facilities have fully functional youth zones. The implementation of the youth zones led to the department being rewarded with a national recognition award by the National Department of Health. Honorable Speaker, while the Free State has achieved a high immunization coverage of 82.7% of children under 1 year, the province has, however, also experienced an outbreak of measles. To date, we have 28 laboratory-confirmed measles cases, mainly in Thabo Mofokeng district, Bethlehem in particular. To reduce the spread of measles, the province is conducting an immunization campaign targeting children from 6 months to 15 years of age. On malnutrition, the Free State is a semi-rural province that has many households that are poor and therefore compromised in terms of household food security. This is evident in the increasing rate of malnutrition among children under the age of 5 years. It is our belief that through the district development model, collaboration with both non-governmental organizations and the private sector, the province shall be able to develop and implement a multi-sectoral strategy to mitigate against food insecurity and malnutrition. This will strengthen the referral of children with malnutrition to the Department of Social Development and other government departments, including all relevant stakeholders. Our strategic policy position as government is to reduce premature mortality from non-communicable diseases through prevention and treatment by 1/3. The department will continue the screening for NCD and put all eligible clients on hypertensive and diabetic treatment. We encourage our communities to live healthy lifestyles. I must also join communities in doing that. On mental health, the key mandate of the Department of Health is to intensify universal mental health and substance abuse access to care at all levels. In the previous financial year, we contracted clinical psychologists who successfully provided mental health services at 454 mental health care users. The department has appointed functional mental health review boards to uphold the rights of the mental health care users as instituted in the Mental Health Care Act. On orthopedic surgery, the backlog in orthopedic surgery continues to be a major challenge owing to the high demand for services and the shortage of specialists and operating theater in time. In dealing with the backlog, in the previous financial year, we have completed 131 orthopedic procedures on outreach at Botshabelo and Albert Nzula hospitals. The department will be upgrading the renal services to the following hospitals during the 2023 financial year through procurement of more renal dialysis machines and establishment of renal water purification system. Extra machines will be provided to increase the renal dialysis services to the Free State population at the following facilities: Mufumahadi Manapo Regional Hospital, Universitas, Buitumelo, Pelunomi, Dihlabeng, and Bongani. Honorable Speaker, we will further extend this service to Fezingubentombi and Albert Nzula District Hospital. One of the key priorities is to restore the dignity and livelihoods of people with temporary or permanent disabilities through the provision of orthotic and prosthetic devices. Honorable Speaker, as a department, we have made significant intervention towards social and economic inclusion of our people who have lost their mobility by making assistive devices accessible to them. In this regard, we provided 72.2% and 63.9% of those identified to be eligible clients. With orthotic and prosthetic devices, respectively, the plan of the department is to halve the current backlog of medical, orthotic, and prosthesis and to reduce the backlog by 2025. The Universitas Academic Hospital has kept up with the technological advances successfully and performed knee replacement surgery on a domestic abuse survivor and 23 other patients through robotics and artificial intelligence. The results have been successful and fully justify the rationale for expansion of this program to benefit more people. These are the benefits of the 4IR and machine intelligence to advance healthcare for improved health outcomes. We will therefore continue to explore the use of robotics in other programs. National health insurance aims to create conditions of universal health coverage. This will ensure equitable access to quality of healthcare services for the population irrespective of their socio-economic conditions. For our health facilities to participate in the NHI, they will have to attain ideal health status and be accredited by the Office of Health Standards Compliance. We are refurbishing our existing facilities to meet the required ideal health facility standards in preparation for the implementation of the NHI. To date, 152 clinics have attained the ideal clinic status, of which 100 are at a platinum status. As a department, our plan is to increase the number of ideal clinics from 69% to 90.4% in the new financial year. Honorable Speaker, the department will put more efforts in ensuring that all our hospitals are compliant with OHSC. To this end, only 2 hospitals, Fezi Ngubentombi and Botshabelo District Hospitals, have attained a platinum status. To reduce referrals to higher levels of care, transporting people to Bloemfontein, and improve access to quality health care, we have contracted 38 doctors under the NHI grant to render services in primary health care facilities across the province so that we reduce the number of people who are being transported to Bloemfontein to get a specialist because of the diseases that are confronting them. We currently have 4 facilities in 3 districts providing 24-hour services. In this financial year, the following clinics will offer services over extended hours from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Honey Park in Welkom, Leratong in Allenrich, Chogovera in Sasolburg, Khotsong in Welkom, Bloemspruit and Freedom Square in Bloemfontein, Bophelong in Petersburg. We will retain the 63 mobile clinics that provide primary healthcare outreach services in rural areas across the province. Honorable Speaker, let us appreciate the good work performed by our healthcare workers as an extension of health services delivery by making inroads in our communities. We have 2,453 community health workers in the province, covering 177 wards, and their contribution towards the attainment of departmental health outcomes is immense. The health sector is working closely with the Department of Employment and Labor in finalizing the implementation of the proposed sector determination of community health workers in accordance with Chapter 8 of the Basic Conditions of Employment. The sector has also agreed with the Bargaining Council on an interim 3-year contract for community health workers. They would not be on 1 year anymore, but they will be on 3-year contracts. On emergency medical services, this program is to render pre-hospital emergency medical services, including inter-hospital transfers, planned patient transport, and emergency communications. In 2023 financial year, we had allocated 787.3 million to this crucial program and responded to 40,424 emergency calls and to bolster the effectiveness of the EMS. We have increased the budget by 180 million. The department currently rosters 138 operational ambulance services for a population of 2.9 million. According to the norms and standards, we are required to have 1 operational ambulance per 10,000 population. Thus, the department is short of 152 rostered ambulances to meet this norm. In this current financial year, we are going to source additional funds that will be used for additional 100 EMS personnel. We will also ensure that the ambulances that are available at government garage and are not utilized, they are utilized. We are going to investigate that matter, Honorable Speaker, because we can't operationalize 138 when we have more ambulances that are not being used. On healthcare support services, it includes pharmaceutical services, your laundry services, medical depot, orthotic and prosthetic services. Honorable Speaker, the availability of medicines serves as a litmus test on the ability of health system to meet its objectives. On health infrastructure, the provision of new health facilities and the refurbishment, upgrading and maintenance of existing facilities, including health technology, is important to us. In the last financial year, we successfully completed and upgraded replacement, refurbishment, extension, and renovation of 16 existing facilities as listed here under. Khala Clinic, Boitumelo, Seadimo, OR Tambo, Kgotsong, Velcom, Kgotsong, Bothaville, Kopano, doctors' accommodation, specialist eye services, Roville, and installation of generators at 4 facilities, which is your Bongani, Paris Hospital, Diamant, Winbeck, and Dr. J.S. Moroka. Honorable Speaker, with infrastructure projects, we will create employment and expand the facilities so that our people are not queuing outside when the weather is not favorable for them to do so. The infrastructure projects are multi-year in nature, and some of these projects will continue in the 2023 and beyond. The following health facilities projects are still under construction. 2 new clinics in Velcom, Tandanani, Reader Park, Tembale 2 Clinic, doctors' accommodation, EMS station, Masilo Clinic in Tennyson, School of Nursing, the list is long. The total budget allocated to infrastructure projects, new and continuing, for the financial year 2023-24 amounts to 704,639,000. Those projects which will be implemented in the new financial year is Harib Dam Clinic, Fall Rock Clinic in Brantford, Bophelong Clinic in Petersburg, the other one is in Kronstadt, Caleb Mutsabi in Bloemfontein, Heidedal, Dinane Clinic, Dihlabeng Regional Hospital. And we will continue with the upgrading of the following support services: new Fendersburg EMS station, new forensic mortuary in Velcom, refurbishment of various services of the Free State Psychiatric Complex, EMS College, Bloemfontein, refurbishment and upgrading of the EMS College. Honorable Speaker, load shedding is here. We must be able to ensure that our facilities are always having electricity. The National Department of Health will be providing alternative energy to 10 identified facilities by rolling out installation of rooftop solar panels. The following facilities have been identified as pilot facilities for the rollout of solar panel technologies: Mukwena Clinic, Khaungalelu Clinic, Sidiba Clinic, Tabanshu Clinic, Bongani Regional Hospital, Pelunomi, Mufuma Hadimanap Hospital, Dr. J.S. Moroka, Newberry District Hospital, Boitumelo Regional Hospital. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, over the years since the advent of our democratic breakthrough in 1994, we have done a lot of good to reverse the tide of apartheid. We have delivered infrastructure and provided quality health care that restored the dignity of our people. It is a fact that our intervention continues to be undermined by the population growth, emerging pandemics, declining financial resources. In this year of decisive action to advance our people's interest and to save lives, we renew our commitment to improve the living conditions of our people, to ensure that we live up to the dictates of the Freedom Charter, which has been translated into a social compact with our people as enshrined in the Constitution. We commit ourselves to remain accountable and deliver good quality care services to our people. Let me conclude by appreciating the faith that my political home, the staff in the department, the stakeholders working with us, and my home, the African National Congress, which has deployed me in the department to provide political leadership to the team that is here. My commitment is to work with this team to encourage and motivate them to improve their output towards betterment of healthcare services to our people. Our responsibility is to serve. Our responsibility is to provide healthcare services to our people, especially the poorest of the poor. I would like to thank the organization that has deployed me in the premier, members of the Executive Council, head of department, management and officials of the Department of Health, with the support that they gave to me in a short space of time that I'm in that department. But thank the people of the Free State for their comments on the WhatsApp groups that we have established. That WhatsApp group is going to assist us to respond quickly to the issues that are confronting our people. I would like to thank my family for their endless sacrifices as they continue to support me as a social activist who was committed to serve the people of the Free State. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, we now get into the debate of the budget vote order. I would like to remind the members that the budget vote is not a general debate. The rule on irrelevance or repetition in terms of Rule 92 shall apply. I will now call Honorable Tsiu to address the House for 15 minutes.
The Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Premier, Honorable members of the Executive, fellow Honorable members of the Legislature, distinguished guests, officials of the Department, mayors and councillors present. The tabling of the budget by our MEC, Mematabo Leeto. We are meeting here today, just 2 days before the commemoration of the day Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu was executed. His spirit was not broken by the long time he had spent in the shadow of gallows. His last words were, "My blood shall nourish the tree of liberation." Indeed, today, as a country, to a great extent, we have started enjoying the process of the hard-earned freedom. Today, we are all enjoying the freedom which Solomon Mahlangu paid for with his life. So we do not need to forget and be complacent as we serve our people, especially in the health sector. It is not yet Uhuru. More still needs to be done. We are delighted to share in this opportunity to contribute positively towards building a sustainable, equitable and accessible healthcare environment for all the people of Free State. Even though the Department of Health gets the second biggest budget after the Department of Education, we know the budget is not sufficient to fulfill the mandate of this department. The budget presented here today for the Department of Health reflects achievement and interventions we made as the ANC-led government in prolonging the life expectancy of our people. Despite the budget not being enough, the department is doing all it can to make sure that they prolong the life expectancy. The reflection of this achievement shows the commitment of the department in providing health services to our people, the commitment of our health care workers. It is encouraging that MEC Leeto has allocated more money to Program 2, which is the backbone of this department and the foundation of a sound health system. For us to succeed in strengthening the primary health care and focus on preventative, promotive health as opposed to curative, hospice-centric health care, we must ensure that our priorities are met as expected and budgeted for, despite the budget not being enough to achieve all the mandate that we have. During the COVID-19 from 2020 to 2021 financial years, community health care workers were vital on the fight against COVID-19. Now that COVID-19, even though it's still there, it's under control, we need to make sure that our ward-based team, led by our enrolled nurses, continue visiting facilities and visiting the homes of our people based on the good practices during COVID-19 that prepared our readiness for any possible future pandemics. It is during this period when this department was leading in ensuring the lower curve of the spread of the pandemic and also vaccinating community as a measure of protecting their lives. As we know that we lost many people during COVID-19. Based on the efforts taken by the Free State, we received a recognition, the Department of Health received recognition from His Excellency President Ramaphosa for being the best performing province in a fight against the pandemic. We are proud to note that in this new financial year, the department is ready for any possible future pandemic. The budget presented by the MEC today shows the intention to intensify community involvement on health interventions pertaining to their lives. Mang le mang o tlameile a nke boikarabelo bophelong ba hae, mme lefapha le ikemiseditse hore le tla sebetsa mmoho le baahi ba Free State. This encompasses the notion of nothing for us, about us, without us. The appointment of governance structures is the reflection and willingness of the ANC government to involve communities as architects of health system. They want, as architects of the health system they want, and they are the link between the department and the community. Through these structures, government will be guided by the people, for the people. That is what democracy is. You can't do anything without involving the people. You need to hear from them what is it that they need. This will be complemented by clean governance on desired improved outcome of audit opinion by the Auditor General. Madam Speaker, the Department of Health has planned a great deal in resolving all the challenges that are confronting our patients and other service consumers in our health facilities. The aim of the Department of Health is to promote health for all the people through an accessible, caring, and high-quality healthcare system. To pursue this objective, the policy of the primary healthcare re-engineering should be fully implemented within our means, with all its streams, because these will assist the department to be able to achieve better outcomes with the little budget they have. The people who defaulted on non-communicable disease treatment, such as people with diabetes and hypertension, will also be brought back to treatment. The budget, as presented by the MEC, is responding to multiple challenges. Functional governance structures like district and provincial healthcare councils, mental health review boards, and the clinic committees are instrumental in assisting the department to achieve the preventative and promotive health system. At the present moment, we have It is work in progress on these governance structures because some of them, like the MEC announced, they are still not functional. Most of our clinic committees still need to be trained to be functional. The continuation of taking primary health care to the people campaign led by MEC Leeto as a platform to interact with communities and taking basic health care to the people will assist a lot in strengthening the PHC and bringing services closer to the people. Free State Department of Health adopted a health system based on primary health care approach, as it is deemed the most comprehensive, all-inclusive approach in preparation of the implementation of universal health coverage, the NHI, where citizens will access quality health care irrespective of their socio-economic status, color, creed, or sex. South Africa is a country with a painful past where people were segregated based on their racial divide. Health care for haves and the inferior health care for the have-not. Healthcare services were targeted as one of the elements that were used to oppress and deny people their basic human rights. Legislation have been adopted to eliminate such practices. However, there are still some hindrances of equitable resources distribution. That is why it is important for us to campaign for implementation of the National Health Insurance. The scale is still tilted toward favoring those previously benefited in the past. The ANC government is hard at work in reversing the imbalances of the past, as we believe the South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. There is more that still needs to be done. We are delighted that the department is committed to ensure that our EMS personnel access training platform so that they upgrade on clinical practice, so that they comply with the new guidelines provided to improve services to our communities. The MEC also spoke about ensuring that we improve on the response time of the EMS, as we have always heard our people crying about slow response. The ambulance, communities have been complaining, and as the department, we are responding. We heard that the MEC has increased the budget so that at least the ambulances are increased and more staff is employed. The reduction of maternal, neonatal, infant and child mortality remains the apex priority as announced by the MEC. Indeed, the strategies applied shows decline from 156.5 to 124 per 100,000 lives births. But we still say it is not yet Uhuru, more still needs to be done. Because of the rising number of teenage pregnancy in our country, the National Health Insurance the National Health Government took a decision to implement youth zones in our primary health care clinics and awareness campaigns at schools through the Integrated School Health Program. And this is a strategy that will help us deal with the issue of the teenage pregnancy ailing Thoba Boroko, Hobatuba Free State. In fact, Hobatuba South Africa kakaretso. In a quest to take services closer to the people, the department is planning to reduce the number of planned patients transport coming to Bloemfontein by ensuring that specialists visits the district to see patients and renew their treatment where they live. We are proud that this financial year, the ANC government is still committed to bring quality health services to the people. The MEC has allocated a budget for priority strategic health programs like TB, HIV/AIDS, and other communicable and non-communicable diseases. Bopaki ke boholo ba basebetsi ba rona bao re itseng ba tla ntlafatsa tsebo ya bona haholo basebetsi ba sebetsang di-ambulanceng le baoki ba rona hobane re utlwile ha MEC ya bua mona ka curriculum e changeleng ya baoki. The key enablers of the implementation of successful health system is dictated by things like infrastructure, human resource for health, availability of medical equipment and medicines, and consumable, as alluded to by the Honorable MEC during her presentation of the budget speech. Continuation of upgrading and building new health facilities will also help to increase access to health services. Madam Speaker, we would like to support vote 5 as presented by the Free State Department of Health MEC, Honorable Leeto. Thank you.
Honorable Klute.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. You know, we can quote numbers and amounts today and be very clinical about healthcare. But ultimately, healthcare is a very individual and personal experience. So we are representing here individuals who have their own stories to tell. So, if a patient's operation is cancelled owing to load shedding and the fact that the hospital's generators do not work, if they have any, then that patient's experience of a lack of services is very personal. I hope at least clinics in Kwakwa have water today. If a patient lies in a bed for months waiting for orthopedic treatment that could have been prevented in the first place, then it's very personal. If a sick patient is denied services due to wage negotiations not being fruitful, then it's very personal. Speaker, no person may take part in a strike if that person is engaged in essential services. And that's not I that say that. That's what the Labour Relations Act stipulates in Section 66 and Section 213 of the Act. And yet, this is exactly what we were confronted with during the recent strike of Nyahawu that also affected the Free State. And yet, we heard very little mention of the strike by the MEC. Notwithstanding the fact that nurses, for example, make a pledge when they are allowed and granted the right of passage in the nurse's profession. And I quote, "The total health of my patients will be my first consideration." That's the pledge nurses take. See, the Nyahawu strike certainly exposed bigger wounds in our healthcare system that we want to acknowledge. So let's put the wage increase negotiations apart for a moment, since there are issues that we will not be able to improve in this House. However, this department is not so innocent. Our healthcare workers are working in horrid circumstances. Let me put this in perspective. Only 738 million from a 12 million budget, that's 6% of the available budget, is budgeted for hospital revitalization this year. That's one of the issues and will remain an issue. It boils down to wage increases in exchange for political support during elections, much to the detriment of our people. If you don't believe me, just look at the compensation of employees for this year for this department, 67% of the total budget. Speaker, my question is, if things are going so well in the province, why do we have a new MEC? Die ANC self die probleem. 'n Nasionale gesondheidsversekering en privaat openbare vennootskappe en digitale gesondheidsorg onder die ANC gaan nie slaag nie. Die enigste manier om ons gesondheidsprobleme op te los is om uiteindelik van die ANC ontslae te raak. Dankie.
Honorable V. Chabalala.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier of the Free State, Ntate Dukwana, honorable members of this legislature, honorable MECs and the MEC of Health, honorable Executive Mayor Ntate Mokotso, the mayor of the municipality where I come from, honorable Speaker Ntate Mtlou Maluti Aphofu, makhanselara ohle, marena rona teng kwano, bohle ba lokelang ke tlhompho, the DG of the province, setjhaba sa heso, dumelang Basotho ba heso. Honorable Speaker, 2 days ago on the 5th of April, Africa and her people commemorated the 5th anniversary of the passing of Memama Nomzana Winnie Madikizela Mandela, a distinguished recipient of the Order of Luthuli in silver. In the Order of Luthuli, the Order of Luthuli is awarded to South Africans who have served the interest of South Africa by making meaningful contribution in any of the following areas in the struggle for democracy of human rights: national building, justice, peace, conflict resolutions. The Order of Luthuli in silver is awarded for excellence contribution. The life of Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela encompasses commitment of community upliftment, opposition to apartheid, and the determination to build a non-racial, non-sexist, and democratic South Africa. Se ke utlwile hore Honorable Ntate Tlute o nahana hore ba ka bolaya mokgatlo wa African National Congress. I'm sure o ntsa le ditorong tsa hae. Her courage and leadership abilities have triumphed over years of political harassment, personal pain, and a wave of media controversy. Honorable Speaker, I therefore, before I become the member of the legislature, I am a member of the ANC in good standing and would like to support the budget of the Department of Health under the leadership of Honorable MEC Memaled. Honorable Speaker, the National Health Insurance marked a decisive break with an unequal and irrational two-tier health system, a system that reflects the persisting and worsening income and wealth inequality in our society. The National Health Insurance seeks to ensure not only access to quality health care for all, but also the redistribution of existing health resources to build equality in health care. That is why we therefore support this budget. There is a vast evidence showing that the commodification of health care cannot guarantee health care for all, but the NHI underlines the necessity to decommodify health care. In societies where health care is solid like any other commodity to facilitate private wealth accumulation, only a tiny minority, largely the capitalist class and the well-off, enjoys the right of life in terms of healthcare security, while the majority, chiefly the working class and poor, comprises, among others, the majority of those who die of preventable and curable diseases. Honorable Speaker, on hard-won right to life is entrenched in our Constitution. The healthcare system must reflect these values and support the fundamental right of life, anchored in universal healthcare and social solidarity with a caring distribution of healthcare resources, as well as the disease prevention vision properly articulated in the NHI, has a great role to play in ensuring that everyone has access to the quality healthcare on the same terms, regardless of whether they have or they do not have money to pay. Due to its pro-people foundation, the NHI enjoy popular support. There is a wide evidence that in countries where similar healthcare systems were introduced, the quality of life among their populations improved sharply. Honorable Speaker, it is important to build strong preventative approach as the entry point in respect of the comprehensive healthcare system. This requires investment in human resource and to create, extend infrastructure, equipped and medical research and deployment. Under primary health care, we support, Honorable Speaker, and also the ANC believes that the health of all South Africans will be secured mainly through the achievement of equitable social and economic development. The legacy of apartheid policies in South Africa has created a large disparities between racial groups in terms of socio-economic status, occupation, education, housing, and health. These policies have created a fragmented health system, which has resulted in equitable access to health. The inequalities in health are reflected in the health status of the most vulnerable groups. Every person has a right to achieve optimal health, and the ANC is committed to the promotion of health using the primary health care approach as the underlying philosophy for restructuring the health system. Honorable Speaker, the primary health care forms an integral part of the post-1994 government, both for the country's health system and of overall social and economic development of the communities. Honorable Speaker, in the context that we welcome the investment in health infrastructure by Honorable Premier, which will include the refreshment of the following facilities: your Bongane Hospital, as the MEC has said, your Mufumadi Manapo Mupedi, and the Free State School of Nursing campus at Bongane Regional Hospital. We also welcome the fact that there are currently 3 facilities that, as per the MEC's speech, that will operate for 24-hour basis and also from 7 o'clock until 7 in the afternoon. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Premier has also committed to conclude an efficiency review of these extended hours within the next 3 months. This will inform further expansion, as is been alluded by the MSc. Under the community health worker, South Africa has a long history of community health workers. It has been a journey that has required balancing constraint, resource, and competing priorities. The community health workers form a bridge between communities and the healthcare services provision within the health facilities and act as a cornerstone of South Africa's ward-based primary healthcare outreach teams. Honorable MEC Memaleto, and we are very proud who extended the contract ya the community health workers from Slemo to the 3-year. I think we are happy with that. Generally, these works provide a vital link between the community and the provincial healthcare structures, and crucially, the home-based care services they provide encourage communities to take ownership of their health needs. Honorable Speaker, if we want to increase the footprint of community health care workers in our communities, we must prioritize their skill development. And I'm sure Honorable MEC has alluded to that skill development, and we are encouraged about that, and their career path, and ensure that their services are decently and consistently rewarded with regular guaranteed pay packages, as the MEC has said. And I'm sure from 12 months to 3 years, it will be, yes, of course, it will be a better salary pay, I'm sure. Through the involvement of community health workers, solving problems together, we can improve the quality of primary health care and bring it closer to the communities we serve through the province. In conclusion, the good news is that the momentum of universal health coverage is mounting. All United Nations members countries have agreed to achieve universal health coverage by 2030. As part of Africa, we are stepping up our efforts and experimenting with modules situated to their context for moving towards universal health coverage. Human life is sustained through conscious response to nature. Honorable Speaker, we must overcome design and technical challenges to achieve universal health coverage, including tackling large informal sector population, transforming how health services are delivered to ensure they are more people-centered. Addressing the complexity of health financing system, maximizing limited available revenue sources, and considering the shifting political landscape that affect the continuing of the reform efforts. Honorable Speaker, we should continue working towards building a resilient health system, since this is a prerequisite for the NHI. And based on the lessons learned from COVID-19 pandemic, we have also been preparing to integrate provision of health services and harness our human and institutional capacity to deal with non-communicable and communicable diseases, including your COVID-19. Inspired by Mama Nomzamo Winnie Madikizela Mandela, we shall not fail and we shall not fear. And I'm sure it is upon our responsibility, Honorable MEC Memaleto, to ensure that they do get empowered through the Department of Health. And that is why it is important as the ANC to ensure that we radically transform the base that our black people are also empowered. And I'm happy that we have set aside almost 700 million, which will be based on infrastructure that will then involve Batho ba bo rona. Re re pele ya pele mokgatlo moholo, mokgatlo wa African National Congress, and we shall die in the organization. I thank you.
Honorable members, I don't have a member who's going to debate on behalf of the economic freedom fighters again. I will now call Honorable Mabena, the Deputy Speaker, to the podium to debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier Ntate Mxolisi Dukwana, members of the executive, members of the legislature, mayors and councillors present here today, marena a rona a teng setjhaba ka kakaretso, baahi ba Thabo Mofutshanyane ke a le dumedisa. Honorable Speaker, in this August House is convened at the time when the country and the world emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic, which killed many people across the globe, especially the poor. And as if it was not enough, both the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and some parts of our province experienced heavy floods, which displaced thousands of our people, especially the poorer the poorer of the poorest, whom it may instead are unavailable to access to quality health and housing. Honorable Speaker, it therefore becomes important to focus on ensuring that our health facility and infrastructure is placed at the heart of our society in the community throughout the province. This can only be achieved by removing infrastructure budget from the Department of Public Works to the Department of Health to speed up building, renovations, and improvement of either dilapidated or all infrastructure to serve our people better. Honorable Speaker, ke a tshepa o tla dumelana le nna hore re na le mafapha a rona a bophelo bo botle a e leng hore a tlotse dilemo tse ka bang 8 and they are still inexistent. Fela a itlhokela fela ho renovate hore a tlise ditshebeletso tse molemo setjhabeng sa rona ka kakaretso. Not ignoring the strive that has been made by the department, like Honorable MEC Leeto has already indicated. The re-establishment of Tutuzela centers in all the districts in the province will not only make it easy for our people across health service, but also to assist in fight against gender-based violence, work as education organs of people's power in promotion and building of healthy nation. It is also important, Honorable Speaker, to focus on investing in human capital. If we are to provide quality health service to an entire population in the Free State, hence we recommend the department to work with higher education training in expansion health services in university and nursing colleges, a strategy to increase the number of health human resources to reduce the skill shortage gap in the province. This will also address unemployment level. The New World Order encouraged the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Honorable Speaker, when we were going to the health facility, ho sebediswa di-file tseo ne re ha o fumana o kula jwalo ka bo rona tje bolusimapena ba na le di-chronic illnesses, o no fumana file ya hao e le Bible, e le testament e ntjha le ya kgale. But because of Fourth Industrial Revolution, all levels of society and state, it is therefore prudent that the department immigrate its service to be used in our health facility. Such should be simple and friendly to be used by our people, irrespective of educational level. We must bear in mind, Honorable Speaker, when we put in place this Fourth Industrial Revolution, let us not leave out our people, those who are not exposed, those who are not at the edge of having this Fourth Industrial Revolution. Honorable Speaker, setjhaba se bolokehileng, se ntjhafetseng, ke seo se nang le maemo a hantle a bophelo. A re lokise maemo a rona a bophelo, re tle re tsebe hore re phele le nako e telele, re tle re tsebe hore the generations to come will come and benefit out of the strife that we have made. Honorable Speaker, I therefore support the budget that has been tabled by Honorable Mayor Lied. I thank you very much.
Honorable Peterway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 3 years after the global pandemic, COVID keeps surging, but life for the most of us is returning to normal. Unfortunately, this is not the case for the Free State health institutions. Our provincial health system has been in a pandemic long before the COVID pandemic. The COVID pandemic only exposed the serious trouble the Free State health system is in. Madam Speaker, for proof of this, let me talk about the Mufumahadi Manapu Mupeli Regional Hospital, here in Kwakwa. I'm sure most of these people have experienced it. 3 years ago, I raised the numerous issues present at this hospital with the then MEC of Health in the Free State. 3 years later, nothing has changed, and the situation has only continued to deteriorate. There is still a severe shortage of staff, a lack of adequate security, interrupted water supply, broken equipment, and too many other problems to name. Our country's critical energy crisis, which results in rolling blackouts, is a serious problem for our health institutions. It is of utmost importance that hospitals do not suffer under these rolling blackouts. But this department has been unable to ensure that health institutions receive a continuous supply of electricity. The Manapo Hospital here in Kwakwa ran out of diesel for their generator in May last year. Local suppliers refused to supply diesel as they know they would not be paid again. Diesel had to be transported from Welkom, Machabeng, 270 kilometers away. Residents of this area who have spoken to the media believe that this hospital does not deserve regional status and should be re-evaluated. I concur. How is it an acceptable level of service to provide to people? The hospital clearly does not meet the basic standards of care required. The Intabazwe Clinic in Harrismith is responsible for serving more than 55,000 residents. Patients sit under flimsy tents that they've erected by themselves, and too many are turned away as this clinic can not serve them as they are severely understaffed and the building is far too small to cope with. The volume of patients is not coping. The clinic has to serve the patients who used to receive services at the Lesedi Clinic, which burnt it down 10 years ago. But the Department of Health has never attempted to rebuild that clinic. Those people now have to walk 5 kilometers per foot to get their health services at the Intabazwe Clinic. Madam Speaker, yesterday,
Honorable Peterway, please pause.
On the point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, in what Honorable Mayor Peterway she has alluded to, I don't think it's truth to mislead the Parliament, because there was no way that the department could not have a diesel. But what happened, Honorable Speaker, the service provider had to make the means to bring this diesel. It's not the department. Thank you. That's the point of order I wanted to raise on.
It cannot be a point of order because sitting here, I cannot substantiate that. Only a person who debates can do that. Proceed, Honorable Peterway.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, yesterday, the Harrismith Clinic was closed down in terms of Section 83 of the National Health Act due to non-compliance. This is the type of health care the people of Maluti Apofong receives, or should I say, does not receive. Madam Speaker, the waiting list for orthopedic surgery is so long, it has become a human rights violation. Patients are entitled to receive adequate and timeless health care services, something this department has been unable to effectively prioritize. The provincial backlog, according to the previous MEC's 2022 budget vote, was 2,662 procedures. I submitted questions on 21 February to the MEC to inquire about the latest backlog, but unfortunately, like many other questions and requests, no reply has been received. It is the responsibility of this legislature to hold the government accountable, but it is clear that the political will is lacking. Patients have been waiting for orthopedic surgeries, such as hip replacements, for months, in some cases, years. This severely impacts the lives and the livelihoods of these people. Many are elderly and are forced to live in extreme pain, while others have lost their jobs. Madam Speaker, some patients have lost their lives while they were waiting for surgery. The department dared to boast in a recent media release that 19 orthopedic surgeries were performed in a blitz marathon of surgeries over a weekend. This is not an achievement. This is supposed to happen every day. Why should we praise a fish for swimming? Fulfilling the basic requirements of your mandate is not a cause for celebration. The Department of Health in the Free State is failing dismally in addressing the backlog of orthopedic surgeries. It has proven again and again and again that it is ill-equipped and ill-prepared to serve the residents of this province. There is an immense shortage of highly skilled and trained staff, medical practitioners, and other essential medical resources, such as medication and functioning equipment. There is absolutely, fundamentally, no political will to make this department work. The Department of Health and Wellness in the Western Cape, where the DA governs, has launched the Da Vinci Surgical Robotic Program, not a trial program, as mentioned by the MEC in her speech. This program has been running in governmental hospitals, in tertiary academic hospitals, Tygerberg and Groote Schuur for some time now. Madam Speaker, this is how the fourth industrial revolution is put into practice. This government loves to talk about the fourth industrial revolution, but it must actually put its principles into action. I'm looking forward to the further rollout of this robotic surgery that the MEC has mentioned in the Free State, and I will keep track of that. Madam Speaker, the Department of Health in the Free State has once again received a qualified opinion from the Auditor General. Reasons for this include the department omitting several instances of irregular expenditure incurred in the notes to the financial statements. Good accounting practices are the baseline of what is expected in a functioning department. The fact that this department again received a qualified audit once more demonstrates that there is no political will to save this sinking ship, or as the previous member called it, the Titanic. Some of the human resources challenges, as mentioned by the Auditor General, are the misalignment of job descriptions to functional structure and departmental strategic objectives, the red tape involved in filling of posts, the backlog of implementation of performance rewards, salaries and notches are not being updated timeously, the high turnover rate for critical staff due to late administration of performance awards and rewards, and great progression. These are some of the reasons why there are continuous strikes at the health facilities in the Free State. The staff are consistently overworked, underpaid, and unappreciated. Madam Speaker, how can anyone be expected to work in a system that treats them like dirt? Too many healthcare workers in this province are physically and mentally burnt out by the unreasonable expectations placed on them. According to the Auditor General, 441 medico-legal cases are registered in the amount of 4.781 billion rand in the Free State alone, which is an increase in the number of claims as well as the monetary value. The number of medico-legal claims are increasing every year, which is a clear indication that patients are not receiving the necessary health care which they are entitled to. The cause of the increased claims have been investigated by various academics. The first and most obviously cause relates to the quality of healthcare services and clinical errors. Cerebral palsy type claims make up around half of medico-legal claims in South Africa. Cerebral palsy refers to a group of disabilities caused by damage to the brain, most often during pregnancy and childbirth. There is a direct correlation between poor healthcare services and poor quality of care during pregnancy and childbirth and cerebral palsy. Madam Speaker, innocent children are being disabled by the healthcare system and their parents are unable to provide the necessary care. It is a vicious circle, as they must then rely on the very same system that caused the disability to provide the services needed to manage it. Other medico-legal claims include negligence in applying proper care, misdiagnosis, and delayed treatment. Healthcare practitioners in our health facilities are often unable to perform their duties as equipment is too old, broken, or simply missing, and the facilities are severely, and I mean severely, understaffed. The quality of care experienced by patients in the Free State's public health care institutions is also severely affected by misadministration and mismanagement. It's simple, Madam Speaker. When these claims are reduced, more funds will be available to ensure that health institutions are suitably operational and more qualified staff can be employed. But how can this logic become a reality when this administration has proven time and time again that it lacks the political will to make the necessary changes? Madam Speaker, after the tragic incident in which a pupil died in September 2022 at the Caleb Mochabi Primary School, I put in a question asking what the time response of the EMS, the ambulance, was when the ambulance was called. The reply I received, it was 3.5 hours. Madam Speaker, the school is 3 kilometers away from the ambulance base. A young life was lost, and this child's parents and the community will forever live with the knowledge that the emergency services they should have been able to rely on dismally failed them. What is being done to make sure that this never ever happens again? For the past 4 years or longer, we have heard about the shortage of emergency medical services due to the shortage of advanced life support personnel. For the past 4 years or longer, we have heard that the recruitment of advanced life support personnel is in progress. Madam Speaker, an innocent child's life was lost. I am begging the department to stop talking and start taking action. Lives are being lost in the province on a daily basis due to the department's negligence and inaction. I regularly communicate with the MEC and HOD of Health, bringing life-threatening cases to their attention. Unfortunately, I'm always being ignored. I beg the new MEC, through you, Madam Speaker, please reply to my communication. You might be able to save a life if you do. This department is not here to change the names of towns or facilities. This department is responsible for people's health and lives. The issues at stake here are matters of life and death. The new MEC stated in her main focus, that her main focus in this department will be to strengthen relationships with stakeholders. What does this actually mean? It's simply an empty statement that looks good on paper but does not indicate any solid action plan for change. She has spoken about making hospitals more user-friendly. What exactly is user-friendly about collapsing infrastructure, inhuman waiting times, medical shortages, and deaths due to negligence? The MEC has indicated that those responsible for incomplete projects will have to account. Madam Speaker, I beg her to start at the Boitumelo Hospital in Kroonstad. I would like to remind this August House of Chapter 6 of the Constitution of South Africa, in specific Section 133, Provincial Legislatures' Accountability and Responsibilities, which states, members of the Executive Council, which is now the MECs, of a province must act in accordance of the Constitution, provide the legislature with full and regular complete reports concerning matters under their control. In South Africa, oversight is a constitutionally mandated function of provincial legislatures, which I normally do. I regularly conduct oversights in the Free State Department of Health at the institutions. What I find is appalling. I can stand here for hours and speak about what I find. Signs up in hospitals that says, beware of falling ceilings. If you find water in the lift, call so and so. Madam Speaker, putting up a sign, it's obvious that no general maintenance is taking place in health institutions. This is an indication of how this department solves issues. It puts up a sign and this seems to be an acceptable alternative of actually fixing the problem. The DA in the Free State has requested the Human Rights Commission to investigate the situation at the Boitumelo Hospital, and I would like to inform that I have received a notification from the Human Rights Commission confirming that indeed they will investigate as per my request. The DA salutes the dedicated staff at all healthcare institutions who tirelessly continue in their duty to serve the public under these horrendous situations. I like to leave with this African proverb, which I would like to direct through you, Madam Speaker, to the MEC. Examine what is said, not who is speaking. The MEC may have changed, but the content remains the same. This government does not care about its people. I thank you.
Honorable Mashinini.
Ha ke lebohe motsamaisi wa dipuisano. Hangata ha re tla setjhabeng re bua maleme ao batho ba sa utlwisiseng. Ke ile ka itukisa ha ke tla diphisanong tsena motsamaisi wa dipuisano hore ke a tseba re na le ditoloko. Metle re maloko le basebetsi mmoho ha ba utlwa ke bua puo yena ya haeso e ke sa batleng hore e nyatsehe ba tle ba thuswe ka ho toloka. E re ke qale ka hore di tloa fela ke aletse ka hore letona le ikarabellang ho tsa bophelo ka hara Freistata diphisanong tsena ke qala ka hore ke tshehetsa seo se adileng ka hara ntlo ena. Ke boetse hape ke dumedise wena motsamaisi wa dipuisano, ke dumedise letona kgolo kwano ke a mmona o shebile fatshe wa bala. Ke dumedise hape le maloko ohle a teng a parlamente ka hara ntlo ena, ba bohanyetsi le ba bang. Ke dumedise marena a teng kwano le marenana a teng, mafumahadi le mafumahatsana. Majoro wa sebaka re a dumela ntate ka ho dumella ka leboha ka ho dumella ka hara ntlo ya hao. Baahi ba Maluti a Phofung le nna e re ke re dumelang. Motsamaisi wa dipuisano ho bohlokwa hore ha re kopana re phisana ka dintho re ske ra lebala moo re hlahang teng hore re tle re tsebe moo re yang teng. Ke a tseba hore re le ma-Afrika ha re ya re shebile Paseka jwalo ka re ya re shebile Pasekeng tjenana re hopola baholo ba rona. Jwale le rona jwalo ka re phisana mona re tlamehile re hopole baholo ba rona. Ke bua ka eng? Ba se ba boletse hore hona kgweding ena ye hodimo re hopola ba ileng ba re siya ka hara Afrika Borwa. Kgweding yona e jwalo ka e mong eneng le bana ba lefatshe lena la Afrika Borwa le Afrika jwalo ka kontinente. Yena ke Thembisile Khrisane. E re tsebang hantle hore o ile a bolawa ke banna ba neng ba sa batle hore Afrika Borwa e fetohe. Ba mo metsa. Jo ba tla ba re bolela motho e ne le moetapele wa rona. Hobaneng ke bua taba ena? Ke bua hobane e tle re ya pele re phisana ka dintho re bentse go hopola hore na baholo ba rona ne ba sebeletsa eng. Mo motsamaisi wa dipuisano ka hara maluti a phofung ha re no kena fela morena le wena majoro wa ka re sa hopole ntate Thabo Mofutsanyana e re tlameileng re ipiletse ho yena hore re amohele morena se re hatile ka hara lefatshe la hao. Ile ye mong ba ileng ba lwana hore ka sheno lena bona bana ba seng ba tseba ho bua ba kgona ho bua hobane nakong ya ho feta ha o no ka bua se kgahlano le bona bana ba o shebisa diselemane ebile bana le mantswe a baneng ba bua bo key words eo ile ha re kena ra fika ra o fetola ra re ona o fetohe a ke kgathalle hore na o ka utlwa bohloko kapa ke kwa utlwa bohloko, but the truth remains. Nnete e a bueha e le thata e le jwalo ebile ho thwa nnete etsa jwang ya hlaba. Ke kopa skela bua ha lena ditokelo tse.
The public, please don't
Ke
participate.
dumellana le wena le tona la ka le Kgabane ka hore tse ding tsa ditekanyetso tseo di entseng o shebile tabeng ya ho ntlafatsa boitsebelo. Me mohlomphehi me Peter Way speech sa MEC o snelwa hore o se bale ska bua ka thoko ho sona se bale o tlo bone hore taba ena ya hore na re ka fetola boitsebelo jwang e teng ka hare mme ditekanyetso di teng. Yini le o khuluma ngayo?
Order.
Batho bana ba bangata ka hara province ya Freistata ba ile balla ba re re a trainwa empa ha re nkuwe mesebetsing. Budget ena e nyane ha wa sheba fela kwana ebe ha o kenye ditekanyetso ntlheng eo. Ke a le kopa e tle re ha le qeta le bale le shebe sejo senyane ha se fete molomo. Ba sebeditse ke hanyane ho hlokehang ke ditjhelete. Ha ke batle ho ya halelele because ke tla o bontsha hore re tena re hula ka tata tjena ka baka la bona. O tswela pele mme wa ka o bontsha hore o tla tswela pele o etse bonnete ba hore batho ba ya trainwa lefapheng lena la hao. Ke a tseba ke ding ya ditaba tse etsang sotla boroko. Batho ba lla ba re kae ka nnete batho ba trainwa ba kgone ho etswang ke sello sa batho ba borona. Mme ha o e sheba hape e teng hona mono budgeteng. O bua ka yona. Once again, once again, check what the budget vote is saying. Speak on that budget vote. At the end of the financial year, then accuse and say, this is what you have done. I remember, Honorable Speaker, I always say, don't speak for the sake of speaking. Speak on facts. Raise facts. How fitla mona o fitla o bua. A bona nna ke bui ka nako engwe ke re kwakwa ha se kwakwa ke kwakwa ke Sesotho. Jwale tlamela ha o tla mona o bua Sesotho batho ba kwakwa ba tsebe ho utlwa hore na o reng. Jwale tswela pele mme wa ka. Wa bona ye nngwe eo Honorable Peter we a bua. Sheba in the budget vote. AG bana ba ikarabellang ho shebana le tsa ditjhelete ka hara diprovince le naha ka bophara. Bane ba hlabile dintlha tse tharo ka sekgowa re re ke di-paragraph tse tharo. Mara lefapha le a sheba kwana di lala di leta di theohile e nngwe fela jwale. But she is not acknowledging that simply because the purpose of opposition is to oppose even when it is right. The purpose is to oppose even if you see the progress. You can't. You see, that's where Mekirinna, the politikin tsarona tsa ka hara naha. Re ke re wa nhlodiya. Di politikin tsarona tsa ka hara naha.
Honorable Peter Way, please pause, Honorable Mashinini. I'm going to request you to be quiet, like everybody else was when you were debating. No, but you cannot talk while the person is on the podium. Respect the other people. Proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Neti ya hlaba ya baba. Jwale ke tle ke re he. Ditaba tse ka reng tsa corruption ha re tlo di tlohella fela re tla kena o tsona. MEC wa bua ka tsona ditekanyetsong tsa hae. Ya tse ding tsa dintho tse re di shebang ke tsona tsa mfuta. Re lile le ka taba tsa hore o bontsha taba ya hore dipetlele ha dina motlakase jwalo ka ona load shedding. Nna ke nahana hore speech sa MEC se ngotswe ka sekgowa. It is written there hore ho batluwa di-generator. Why? Who respond against the challenge? Who batluwa di-panels. Why? Because who respond against the challenge of shortage of electricity. What else do you want? Do you want them to keep quiet and do nothing? No. If you do that, MEC, you will be neglecting your responsibility, which is the mandate what the people gave you. Don't do it. Soldier on. Utswele pele o di etse ntho tseno. Hobane ho tla ba boima. Ha re sa di etse. Substance abuse. Ya tse ding tsa dintho tse re tsebang hore ka nnete ke tlhoka boroko ka hara Afrika Borwa le lefatshe ka kotlolo. Lefapha le la hao ditekanyetsong tsa hao, I support that. You speak about substance abuse. And how do you respond? Wena o kena jwang mono hore o loke o sebetsana le taba tsena. Ska thola fela. And ha wa thola fela. Jwale motho yona ya ileng a hloleha nakong ya ho feta. O ntse a bua le ha o ntse o etsa dintho tse rege. Ha ke tsebe na lebaka le etsang hore ha o re ha ke re ke kentse ditekanyetso hore di tle di shebane le taba ena ya substance abuse. Wena o re ha ona letho ya substance abuse etsa. Khanti khwa se leng sa hao so ithutileng ka sona fela se le seng o bala eng wena? Ke eng ntwe bala? Kapa you take our people so cheap that you can explain in English and think that they are not going to read the speech. They are going to read the speech and understand. Yes, we do have a challenge, but we are not going to hide where there is progress. Monal in progress, progress eating. You can't stand in front of the mic and tell us about Western Cape. What is Western Cape in the Free State? Hela, re shebile mathata a rona Free State. Ska tla re bolella ka dintho tse ka thoko mona. A go reng ke kenwe hanyane fela. Jwale motsamaisi wa dipuisano
Order,
ke tle ke dumele
members of the public, order,
ke tle ke
and you
dumele
honorable members.
ke tle ke dumele leloko le tshepahalang mme Montsheng ke dumelana le tsohle tseo o di buileng wa bona bothata bo rena le mbona ko re kana go nngwe hobane mosebetsi wa maloko a parlamente ko etsa bonnete ba hore ha budget e entswe tjena e be ile hore ho etswa bonnete ba hore kenya tshebetsong kona mosebetsi wa rona o jwale wena MEC nna ke a dumela o di beile ile ke tsamaya le tsona jwale motho a tla bua ka thoko ho nthwena ke tla mo utlwa re le mang dikomiting hore na o reng a re le setjhaba jwalo ka le re tjhaketse tjena na mona re tle re tsebe hore na mosebetsi wa dikomiti ke eng jwale wa bona ha o condemna constitution na ke tsebe hore na o batla eng o batla o mpolella hore di-membera tsane hao ha di na ditokelo tsa ho strike di na le tsona. Tell the truth and nothing else. Haebe ha o e tsebe tsa mo bala constitution, you will see that the right to strike is in the constitution. Ha ke tsebe ntho o buang kana o bua ka eng. Nna ke tla o araba ngwana mme. Re a leboha mongadi Vusi Tshabalala ka o tobeketsa ntlheng ena ya healthcare. Yes, the ANC has never refused and accept the challenges. It will always do that. To say, mo renal machata, it's not enough. But we are not going to fold our arms and do nothing. That's not responsibility. That's not how you address what is in the Constitution. You must stand up and do with the little that you are having. So proceed. Soldier on. By the way, the dog barks the car that is moving. If the car is not moving, the dogs are not going to bark. Ka Sesotho, bona Sesotho sona se brutal. Se re ntja e bogola e mathang. Ha e thotse, ha ona letho, ebile di kgodi etsa jwang di a bela. Hobane ha e tsamaya. Jwale mongadi ya Tshabalala ke dumelana le wena hantle ho phethahetse ka seo se bolelang. Le yena ya emphasis ya hore ka nnete lefapha le etse bonnete ba hore bana batho ba tlameleng ba eketswe ka hara lefapha ha ba beteng. Hobane tsela ena e sa le telele re tlamele re etse bonnete ba rona hore batho ba bo rona le hantse re criticize wa tjena batho se ke ra fela mo. Jwale MEC se ka ba fela moya ngwaneso. Soldier on. Ska fela moya. Soldier on. Hobani, whether you do right, they will criticize. When you do wrong, they will even speak. So that's what they are doing. Kitse mona re a debate khibua ka taba. Honorable Mapena, the Tutuzela centers. Re na le mathata ana a dithethefatsi. Jalo tlamehile o be le sebaka moo batho ba bo rona ba kgona hore ba phekolwe teng. By the way, they are not enough. But I'm saying Sijo Sinyana se fete molomo. Proceed with that. And I want to appeal that when the guests are here, let's protect those buildings. Let's protect them because it's our building. We never have them before. Because Bana Babu Amona, they have failed in the past. Now today they say we must go to Western Cape to do what? Chair, motsamaisi wa dipuisano, ke a leboha ka nnete ka taba ya hore di-clinic di kgone ho sebetsahala. Ke a itumela letona la ka hore o so le se le qadile le lefapha hore re be le 24-hour clinic. Ke a tseba ha di so fihlelle moo di tlamehang hore di be teng. I know about that. But sello se seholo ke sa hore a nne re tsweleng pele selemo le selemo re di eketse hobane mathata a etsahala bosiu. To me, Honorable Speaker, the budget vote encourages me. It seeks to say, despite the challenges of water, despite the challenges that are there of the economy.
Please pause, Honorable Member. Honorable Kleinhans, is that a point of order?
Hey, ho bohloko, sorry.
Thank you, Speaker. I would just like to know whether Honourable Mashinini can take a question.
Order, honorable members. Let the honorable member respond. Are you prepared to take a question?
I'm left with 53 minutes. So with that, I fear focal.
Order, withdraw that. Withdraw.
Hakitsabi, I can take you on. I can take you on because I know. So,
Can you take the question?
as I won't take any question, Honorable Speaker, because of time. I don't have any more time.
Proceed.
In conclusion, hake qetella bomme le bontate, diphephetso di tla dula di le teng. Letona la ka diphephetso di tla dula di le teng. Tswela pele o ne o arabele diphephetsong tsena tse re nang le tsona. Ska ba wa kgathala moya. Hobane ha o ka kgathala o tla be o rwakile setjhaba sa bo rona. Ska ba kgathala mme wa ka. Kgothala o implement. Hape mme wa ngwana o tshwara thipa ka bohaleng. Ke a leboha. Thank you.
The Honorable MEC may now reply.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I am not surprised that 5 years ago, I left Honorable Peter Way as a member of the legislature complaining. She is still complaining to date. And the reason why she is complaining is because she doesn't understand the struggles of our people. She comes here and claims that she represents our people. And the majority that were elected by our people is the African National Congress, not the DA. Therefore, the DA does not have a mandate to speak on behalf of the majority of our people, especially the poorest of the poor. Health workers are the foundation of the department, and we will always prioritize our health workers. Hence, we said we are going to upskill them. We are also going to do a skills audit so that we are able to place our workforce where it matters most. In the 2023 budget vote, we have talked about alternative energy. Next time, ke tla o ngolla ka Sesotho ba sekgowa ha o se tsebe, Mme Peter Way, through you, Honorable Speaker. The budget says we are going to install rooftop solar panels to ensure that there is no patient that will be returned from our health facilities because of load shedding. But at the same time, the Honorable President, Honorable Matamela Ramaphosa, has appointed a Minister of Electricity. And Dr. Ramokgopa is on course in addressing load shedding. Load shedding is going to be history. And the reason why we would have load shedding today is because before 1994, only few people who are lighter than me who had access to electricity. The majority of our people did not have access to electricity, but today we are proud that the African National Congress has ensured that even those that stays in shacks has access to electricity. Therefore, we cannot come here and explain. But I'm not surprised because Honorable Peter Way don't know the struggles of our people. The National Health Insurance is a program introduced by the Department of Health to make sure that we upgrade our health facilities to be at a standard where our people are served with all specialties. They don't have to go to Bloemfontein. They don't have to go anywhere. We are on course in making sure that our health facilities are reaching the platinum status, in making sure that the national health insurance becomes real. Now that program is a program of the African National Congress, which has an understanding that the majority of our people does not have medical aids. Therefore, they can't go to private hospitals. We must turn the public facilities to be at a level of private hospitals because we serve the people that has elected us. The clinics, our population is growing, and we are augmenting the clinics that we have with mobile clinics. We have said as the department, we are going to manage our own queues. Now we are going to make sure that we popularize our appointment system in our clinics so that our people don't go at 5 o'clock, all of them in our clinics, but a person would come at a time when he or she was given an appointment so that we make sure that there are no long queues. We have said we are making sure that we are going to take specialists to Qwaqwa, to Allen Reach, to Wesselsbron, so that people don't have to travel long distances and go to Bloemfontein for specialists. Now, Honorable Peter Way, at least acknowledge the good work that the ANC is doing. As the ANC in the next financial year, we are going to make sure that the 319 wards of the Free State, each and every ward will have an ambulance. That is what we are going to make sure as the government of the Free State. We are going to make sure, Honorable Speaker, I would invite Honorable Peter Way to join me next month when I go to hospital, distribute 2 blankets per bed, make sure that the PPE is there, our people are getting linen so that we are able to control infections in our hospitals. As the department, of course, government is about the people. There is no government without the people. We are going to strengthen clinic committees. In a ward, Honorable Peter Way, there's a ward committee, there's a ward councillor, there's a clinic committee. Now we're going to make sure that all those structures, they work together in the management of the clinic for them to be able to know what are the programs that we are implementing, they participate and communicate with our own people. Because those programs, we're not doing them for us. We're doing those programs for our people. And don't ever believe what your own leader said at your own conference, where you could not tell the people of the Free State what are they going to do, what is it that they have, but instead they are focusing on the African National Congress, which is the biggest liberation movement, and will never erase that history. Honorable Speaker, we are upgrading our facilities. We said we are in the process within the budget that we have. Mufumahadi Manapo Hospital is part of our priorities. Boitumelo Hospital is part of our top priorities because we are a government that is listening. Our people are not going to raise issues about our hospitals, about Mufumahadi Manapo, about your Boitumelo and many other hospitals. It can be that Hospitals in rural areas and in small areas are lesser than hospitals in Bloemfontein. We are going to make sure that our people are served where they are instead of them traveling long distances. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Klute, we will conduct skills development in the department and place people correctly, but at the same time upskill their knowledge for their upward mobility, because there has been many who has been employed for 10, 20 years on the same position. We are going to motivate our employees. We are going to motivate our clinical staff, our nurses, our doctors, because we are nothing as the department without doctors, without nurses, without porters, without everyone who works in this sector. So it is our responsibility to motivate them. In this financial year, we are introducing a performance reward system where we will be awarding best performing nurses, best performing doctors, best performing porters, and also the governance structures, because they are doing work on our behalf. Now, Honorable Peter Way, for the next 5 years, if you will come back, I don't think you are coming back. Please go and read so that you don't come here and complain.
Honorable members, the reply by the MEC closes the debate on vote 5, health. We proceed to motion 2. The secretary shall read motion 2.
That leave be granted for the second reading debate on the appropriation bill number 2 of 2023, vote 12, sports, arts, culture and recreation.
The vote before the House is vote 12. The Honorable MEC, Ms. Mahasa, may now address the House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, colleagues in the Executive Council, Honorable members of the Legislature, Executive Mayors and Councillors, representatives of House of Traditional Leaders, representatives of sports federations, as well as arts and culture councils, management and officials of the department, Baahi ba Freistata, Bommele Bontate, comrades, Dumelang. Dumelang. Pele ke tswela pele ka ho tshetleha ditekanyetso tsa selemo sena, ke lakatsa ho fetisa matshediso ho lelapa la ha Ntate Magwe le Ntate Mdi ka koduwa e ileng ya ba hlahela kgweding ya ho feta. Ha ho tlwaelehe ho ema mona ntle le tshehetso ya Ntate Tate Magwe. Ke ka hona ke lakatsang hore puo ena ya kajeno ke beha tlotlong ya mohlabani enwa ya ileng a beha Freistata pele, empa ho etsahetseng robala ka kgotso Mampudi Sekwankwetla. Motsamaisi wa dipuisano, ke ema mona hape ho theoletsa sehlopha sa rona sa naha sa bolo ya maoto se tswang e le Bafana Bafana ka ho ipabola ka makgabane papading ya bona e fetileng. Ka mora dilemo tse mmalwa re tla ke re tshwane le ditjhaba tse ding tse shebellang naha ya bona mohopeng o moholohadi ka hare ho Afrika. Ke lakatsa ho ba lakaletsa mahlohonolo mohopeng o wa matjhaba. Ho boetse Ho a thabisa ho rolela sehlopha sa rona sa bomme sa cricket ka ho fihla makgaolakgang a mohope wa lefatshe wa T20. Ka nnete ba ile ba tshwara thipa ka bohaleng ho beha naha ya Afrika Borwa mmapeng wa lefatshe. Re ka lebala jwang sehlopha sa banyana bao e leng bomampudi ba Afrika bolong ya maoto. Re ba rolela kgaebane ebile re motlotlo ka phitlhello ya bona. Lesedi. In his foreword, the Sports and Recreation White Paper, the then Minister of Sports and Recreation, Steve Tshwete, said, "Sport continues to be shortchanged with regard to the allocation of resources because of the lack of knowledge of those at the decision-making level, of its role in society, as well as its potential as an instrument of transformation. The situation is worse in the case of recreation. Our ongoing campaign to educate decision makers about this role will continue." Comrade Steve Tshwete went further to persuade those in sport to raise sports profile in the face of conflicting priorities. Madam Speaker, the essence of the message of Comrade Steve Tshwete was simple. The skewed development in South Africa will always ensure that sport development is seen as a secondary to any other development. We tend to forget that only sport can unite the young and old. Only sport can make the black and white sing Shosholoza in unison. The white apartheid government of yesteryears realized it as far as 1919, when they protested against the inclusion of Maori people in the New Zealand rugby team that played Springboks. They knew that sooner than later, the black people will demonstrate through sport that they are not inferior as the white government preached to the world. They were also afraid that the white people will realize that black people are also humans and have talent. Madam Speaker, that white government was afraid that the propaganda will not be sustainable. To ensure that sport does not unite people of South Africa, the straight-on apartheid regime introduced the apartheid sport plan on the 26th of June, 1956. Though our rainbow nation defeated apartheid and its plans, its remnants are still well among us. We saw them at Musselsport, when they think public swimming pools are only meant for white people. We saw them in this house when their silence was so loud and they couldn't condemn the behavior because it's what they contest elections for. It doesn't matter, you kept quiet. In the occasions such as this, it is important to look back and appreciate the distance that has been covered by those in sport to date. Maybe it is an opportune moment to reflect back and assess if we took the fallen baton of Comrade Steve Tshwete and continue to raise sports profile against competing priorities like roads, education, health, water, provision, and many others. I'm going to respond to you, Ntate Jankas, and I'm not afraid of you. Honorable Speaker, this budget will take us to 2024, which will mark 30 years of democratically elected government of our country. It will also mean that the white paper that was developed as a guiding torch will be health, water, provision, and many others. I'm going to respond to you, Ntate Jankas, and I'm not afraid of you. Honorable Speaker, this budget will take us to 2024, which will mark 30 years of democratically elected government of our country. It will also mean that the white paper that was developed as a guiding torch will be in existence for 28 years. Hypothetically speaking, It means a child that was born in 1994 should only be reading about skewed sport development from history books and not being a culprit and living example of skewed development. Madam Speaker, it also means that those who benefited from apartheid government have long passed their expiry date in active sport and development continuum. The reality depicts something else. When you go to Mangkwani in Thabo Mofutshanyane, you still find children kicking a ball made out of cloth and barefooted. What is even more touching is when you see some of these children playing half naked as a form of differentiating between opposing teams. Madam Speaker, these children do not have proper playing fields, but play on our street and are exposed to all kinds of dangers. In his maiden state of the province address, the Honorable Premier, Mr. Mxolisi Dukwana, notes that the arts, culture, heritage, sport and recreation landscape of the Free State offers endless possibilities for the individual and collective pursuit of talent and passion, close quote. The Honorable Premier further directs that we need to create an enabling environment within which our programs find expression, close quote. Honorable Speaker, in response to this need to create the enabling environment during the 2023-24 financial year and building on the performance of the previous financial years, the department continued on an upward trajectory with regard to the realization of its performance targets. As a sign of this development, the Auditor General of South Africa's report for 2022-23 made no negative findings around the department's performance information. During the last financial year, the department managed to achieve 88% of its planned targets. This means that the programs that we had planned and committed to has been implemented. The return of mass participation programs was demonstrated by the implementation of the flagship program of the Free State Provincial Government, which is the Mangaung African Cultural Festival in 2022. Notwithstanding the challenges in the environment, the return of Makufe was a welcome relief for cultural activists whose livelihood was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in the 2 years period of its non-implementation. Honorable Speaker, allow me to present the 2023-24 departmental budget. For the 2023-24 financial year, the department receives a total budget allocation.
Honorable Mahasa, my apology. Can you please pause? Members of the community, re na le bothata ba modumo. Ho na le modumo o moholo o tswang fatshe mo. Ke kopa batho ba ntseng ba ntsha di refreshments, do it quietly, please. Continue, Honorable Mahas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. For the 2023 financial year, the department receives a total budget allocation of 633,328,000 rands, which represent a decrease of about 4% compared to the 2022-2023 allocation of 665 million Departmental Ethics Committee has also started operating following the appointment of the committee as well as the Assistant Director of Fraud and Anti-Corruption. Fraud and Anti-Corruption in the Security Management Directorate. The Ethics Committee has effectively started with its functions. The draft ethics plan is in place and will be finalized into a full operational plan to guide the process of promoting an ethics culture in the department. Key ethics strategies and plans have been developed and their full implementation is imperative. Under human resource management, in terms of human resource management, the department has finalized and submitted the reviewed organizational structure for consideration by the Office of the Premier and Department of Public Service and Administration. As indicated during the last budget vote, the objective of structure review was to align our structure to the available budget as well as with the strategic objectives of the department. We are delighted that we have completed this task and just awaiting feedback from the Office of the Premier. Our process of filling vacancies is continuing to unfold as per our recruitment plan. At senior management level, we have in the last financial year managed to fill the post of Director for Library Services after a long time of existence of this vacancy. We should soon finalize the appointment of the Director of Human Resource Management and the Chief Financial Officer, both of which were advertised and shortlistings were conducted. Training and development has also been prioritized through provision of bursaries to officials and creating opportunities for internships and learnerships. Madam Speaker, only 39% of the department's budget is dedicated to program and infrastructure projects, and the remainder covers compensation of employees. This picture remains bleak for the department, which is service or mass-based participation. Dependent of conditional grants also remains a challenge. With the reintroduction of Makufe revenue projection has been reviewed upwards to 5 million. It is anticipated that following the lifting of COVID-19 restrictions and thus the opening up of our tourist attraction facilities, our revenue streams will now improve our revenue collection capacity. Program 2, Cultural Affairs. Honorable Speaker, for the 2023-24 financial year, Cultural Affairs Program received an allocation of 134,270,000 rand. Despite the challenging fiscal constraints that we have stated earlier, the implementation of cultural affairs programs continued mostly in line with our planned targets and developmental trajectory. The Basotho cultural heritage continued to be showcased through the celebration of the Basotho New Year at the Basotho Cultural Village in Kwakwa. On the 6th August 2022, Basotho and cultural enthusiasts descended on the Basotho Cultural Village near Kwakwa for the annual Basotho New Year celebration. This landmark and very important event in calendar of Basotho people will continue to be celebrated this financial year. Activities that depict the history of Basotho were on display during the celebration and included horse riding, grand parade, and demonstration of traditional cultivation through oral history. Traditional music and dance that were showcased on the day include, amongst others, Mohobelo, according music, Sirubolelo, Sesotho hip hop, as well as Zulu and Tswana traditional dances. A variety of Basotho traditional food were on display. In our quest to develop previously marginalized languages and to honor our legends in the African literature, the department launched annual Dr. Mapala lecture in 2022. The second annual lecture was held on the 24th of February 2023 in partnership with the University of the Free State. This lecture will be sustained into the future. As directed by the Honorable Premier Ntate Mxolisi Dukwane in the State of the Province address, we must embark on a process to establish a film commission this year. As stated by the Honorable Premier, the purpose of this process is part of the efforts to create a thriving creative industry. We must leverage off this opportunity to develop the value chain of this sector, particularly the technical and related industries. As part of the process towards the establishment of Film Commission, progress has been made in this regard, as the name of the commission was secured and will be known as the Free State Film Commission. The existence of this commission will expedite the process towards ensuring a thriving film industry in the province with an expected greater economic spin-off. A film summit was held on the 30th to the 31st of March 2023 to discuss the Free State Film Commission, an interim steering committee consisting of film and television producers, film and television directors, film and television editors, as well as film and television playwrights was established. The objective of the summit was also to facilitate the establishment of non-profit company that will guide the Free State film industry to establish a Free State Film Commission and be the guardian of film and television in the Free State moving forward. It's okay. Days of national significance. Celebration of national days of significance, such as Heritage Day and Freedom Day, will find their way back in the mainstream of our culture activations. These programs are important not only in the inculcation of a spirit of nationhood and social cohesion, but also as a platform that provides performance opportunities to artists or creative practitioners in general. As pointed out by the Honorable Premier in the State of the Province address, the racial divisions and prejudice in some sectors of our society is a clear indication of the work we still need to do through these programs to unify our communities. Mind Dance Festival was celebrated in Welkom through the Free State Arts and Culture Council in partnership with the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. The department will also host Qarib Music Festival in partnership with Qarib District Municipality, and also support reggae community with their upcoming festival. As a people-centered department, we have supported community media in the Free State with an amount of 100,000 each, and we will continue to support them this financial year. In the past, there was little research conducted on the black concentration camps during the South African War of 1899 to 1902. The scorched earth policy also greatly affected black people, and it is therefore imperative that we narrow the knowledge gap on this phenomenon in order to bring about justice in the Black sufferings and contributions. Heritage Free State has, in February 2023, provisionally declared a site in Springfontein, believed to be graves of Black people buried during South African War. There are also alleged mass graves in Tabalibitla in Wynberg. A research team has been constituted which consists of historians and archaeologists amongst other expertise. This team will conduct research on the above-mentioned sites as well as in Tabancho camps. This will, in essence, expand the heritage landscape of the Free State, document the suffering and contribution of Black people in the war, and also give dignity to those buried. This project also aims to correct past imbalances in the narration and documenting of our collective history. Madam Speaker, this project will be implemented in our quest to expose the injustices and atrocities of the past, to bring closure to the foster reconciliation. In terms of Section 27, subsection 2 of the National Heritage Resource Act, number 25 of 1999, the Free State Provincial Heritage Resource Authority is entrusted to identify provincial heritage sites which have special qualities and make them significant in the context of the province or region in terms of the heritage assessment criteria set out in Section 6, subsection 1 and subsection 2, and must investigate the desirability of their declaration as provincial heritage sites. We therefore aim to commemorate the important historical footprints of individuals that dedicated their lives to their resistance and struggle in the Free State by erecting monuments at the following sites. 1, Peter Swart House in Heidedal. 2, Lucas Majosi site in Zastron. 3, Caleb Motsabi Banishment House in Tabanchu. 4, Albert Nzula House in Ruvel. 5, Peter Pahlani in Bloemfontein. The above sites were nominated as heritage sites. However, after research and investigations, we will be erecting monuments in these respective sites in order to honor the above-mentioned heroes. The department will put aside 800,000 rand to capacitate the research team as well as erecting monuments for our heroes. Madam Speaker, on the 21st of January 1960, 437 miners perished in a Claysdale Coalbrook mine. No efforts were made by apartheid government to retrieve their bodies, which still remain buried 180 meters underground. The Rejuvenation Committee in Sasolburg has been at the center stage of ensuring that this massacre is recognized and the mine is declared a heritage site. This community organization has been working with a number of stakeholders, including National Mine Health and Safety Council, Chamber of Mine Research Organization, Department of Mineral Resource, Metsimaholo Local Municipality, and Fezile District Municipalities. They are currently performing 437 musical theater that depicts and interprets the untold story, true story of Coalbrook Mine tragedy that happened 63 years ago. The group is in the process of creating a documentary to educate the young people of Free State about it. Madam Speaker, the department will play an integral part of this project and assist the group to achieve its noble objective. The department will stage arts and culture awards that will include all genres of the sector. These awards will go an extra mile in ensuring that our artists are recognized, acknowledged, and appreciated for the work they are doing in the industry, as well as putting the Free State on the map artistically. The awards will also honor our fallen heroes and heroines who will be honored posthumously. The gospel music provides the food of the soul, and it provides healing and hope to the hopeless. The department will partner with the Free State Gospel Music Awards to honor our gospel artists who have made strides under this genre. Madam Speaker, this is the biggest genre in the Free State, and it is for this reason that we will ensure that it becomes one of the flagship programs of the department. Makufe Gospel Festival bears testimony to this reality. The 2022 Makufe hosted more than 50% of our local artists performing at different genres and the main festival. To be precise, out of 65 artists, 34 were our local artists in the Free State. The Makufe Homebrew Program, which is a developmental program meant to provide participation opportunities exclusively for local artists, provided this opportunity to about 145 Free State artists. Attendance by patrons at the various shows of Makufe in 2022 was satisfactory, with venues filled to capacity. Madam Speaker, Makufe is a festival that solidifies patriotic spirits in our country by reaching a plethora of genres in 1 week. It has long surpassed the provincial festival, and it is of vital importance to reposition and make it tick to both the Free State patriot and international patriot. It must be a pinnacle point where every crafter, painter, author, literary scholar, musician, and poet will want to reach and be associated with. Cheers. Under Program 3, Library and Archive Services. Honorable Speaker, Library and Archive Services received an allocation of 252,771,000 rand in the 2023-24 financial year. Library Services continues to be one of the programs that relies heavily on conditional grants, despite the budget limitation we have through the Library and Archives program. The following were achieved and still to be achieved. Equipment for visually impaired was procured and installed in 3 libraries, which are Piritona, Morojaneng, and Smithfield. 3 more services for the visually impaired will be installed at Kalabocha, Moemaneng, and Pumulong libraries during 2023-24 financial year. As part of supporting the emerging authors, a total of 21,968 books were procured. 1.1 million was spent on books from local authors and booksellers, and 2 million was spent on women book suppliers. The department will continue to support youth and women businesses and authors. 40% of the budget will be channeled to books procured by young aspiring writers and women. Funds have been secured for the department's archives repository for the project to upgrade bandwidth infrastructure to the value of 400,000. The bandwidth infrastructure upgrade, which will enable the loading of the newly acquired archival material to the National Archives website, will increase the number of researchers on the Free State Archives repository. Madam Speaker, for many years, the Reading Festival has been a program that is entirely dependent on conditional grant. In this financial year, the department will also make a significant financial contribution to massify this noble festival as a flagship program. The spelling bee will include 3 languages, that is Sesotho, English, and isiXhosa. The focus will also be extended to our communities, deaf learners, visually impaired, as well as the word ithon. The festival will be branded as Rejaka Buka, and among the Sesotho books that will be prescribed will be some of the books of Dr. KPD Mapala. Under Program 4, Sports and Recreation, Honorable Speaker, the Sports and Recreation Program is allocated a budget of 131,119,000 rand in the 2023-24 financial year. Provincial Indigenous Games programs were held in Tabanchu on the 3rd of September 2022 as part of a quest to promote indigenous knowledge and heritage, as well as active participation in sports amongst communities. National Recreation Day and Big Walk was staged in Bloemfontein, Mangaung on the 5th of November 2022 to promote healthy lifestyle and social cohesion. The program will also be massified as a flagship program. Madam Speaker, this year we want to see our people walking or running in all our towns in the Free State. Additional financial allocation will also be made to massify this program. This year, South Africa is hosting the first ever Netball World Cup in Africa, which will be hosted in the Western Cape. As the province, we will host the trophy tour from the 19th to the 23rd June. As part of Netball Legacy, we will receive 1 netball spraying floor facility from Netball World Cup office once the tournament is finalized. We are still going to continue with the district soccer tournament, but this time we are going to support Mtate Daycare Foundation to develop soccer in the province through, though at a small scale. It was supported previous financial year, but it was supported on a small scale. But this time we are going to increase the budget so that the IDF will work with other soccer legends to ensure the success of district soccer tournament, which will culminate in the provincial soccer tournament. We are also going to have the pool table tournament because it is now the popular sport in the country. In most cases, our young players are forced to play at taverns and get exposed to toxic environment. The department has a responsibility to deal with substance and alcohol abuse. The taverns and shebeens cannot continue to be recreational facilities. In an endeavor to grow pool table, the department will partner with the sector to host the first ever provincial pool table competition that will involve every town in the Free State. Madam Speaker, many people do not even know that the Free State has world champions who continue to represent South Africa. We want our youth out of the taverns. We will also hold...
Members of the community order.
We will also host Ntate Andrew Mlangeni golf tournament with the foundation. Again, we will go back to Harib on the month of Nelson Mandela and host the boxing tournament. The province is delighted that the Council of South Africa Football Association has partnered with Mangaung and Department of Sports, Arts and Culture Recreation to host the 2023, 2024 and 25 Under 20 Girls Tournament in Mangaung. These games have a huge potential of injecting foreign currency in our only metro in the Free State. The department will develop sport facilities such as combi courts, hubs and outdoor gyms. This will be achieved through engaging municipalities such as Harib, Kopanong, Lejwaliputswa, Honey Park, Thaba Mofutshanyane, Libopo Sports Ground, Mangaung, Tabancho, Moroka, Zebras Field. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, may I take this opportunity to thank all the stakeholders, the artists, athletes, and broader community of the Free State for continuing to provide support to the department despite the challenges of the resources that we are confronted with. May I also extend my gratitude to the members of the legislature and the portfolio committees for their oversight, guidance on this function. May I also express my gratitude to the Honorable Premier, Ntate Mxolisi Dukwana, I nearly said Whitehead, but it's okay, and the ruling party, the African National Congress, for entrusting me with this responsibility. Let me also thank Advocate Tshwarelo Malakwane for agreeing to act as the head of the department despite the enormous responsibilities he has in his own department. Let me also thank all the managers and officials of the department for continuing to do the best that they can despite the limited resources. They have indeed lived to the saying, a bird sitting on the tree is not afraid of the branch breaking because its trust is not on the branch but its wings. My personal word of gratitude continues to be extended to my husband and my children, my family, for appreciating the responsibilities that have been placed on my shoulders to serve the nation. By the way, it's my anniversary today. Ho feta tsena kaofela, ke rata ho leboha mmupi ya re beileng mona kaofela, hobane ha ene se ka yena re ka be re se mona. Ke a leboha.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC Mahasa, and congratulations on your anniversary. Honorable members, we proceed to the debate on the Honorable MEC presentation of the budget vote. I will now call upon Honorable Ngangisa to address the House for 11 minutes.
Ke lehoana la botlalana, ke motho wa mahase a mpewana, ke hasa dikgomo, ke hasa le batho, ke hasa le dipudungwana naheng, ke ngwana ya tau ya matsebela, nong ha inje, mmane e mpone, e tshaba ha e tla tshwehla molomo. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the ANC support this budget. Honorable members of the executive, the Premier in his absence, honorable members of the opposition and all honorable members of the legislature, members of the community, the media at large, marena a rona a hlomphehileng le batho bohle ba hlokang tlhompho. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the African National Congress and in my own name to welcome this opportunity to debate on this budget vote of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. Yes, Honorable Mahasa, we can just imagine the late Honorable Tate Makwe. Now that it is the season of departmental budget speeches, yes indeed, he was an elder brother to many of us in this house. We'll certainly miss him. May his beautiful soul rest in eternal peace. Not only do we miss Comrade Tate today, but we also miss all our forebears who have had an opportunity to converge in this lawmaking body in a quest to ensure that indeed everybody has a dream and we all have the right to learn. We converge today when this MEC, Memahasa, on her anniversary, is presenting a budget speech, number 29 since our democracy. Many giants, heroes and heroines of our movement and struggle have done the same as she did. Many have left the land of the living, and to all of them, just like we did to our brother Comrade Tate, we say, rest in eternal peace, leadership. We gather today in Thabo Mofutsenyane District Municipality, the name of our most revered leader and intellectual, Comrade Thabo Edwin Mofutsenyane. We must remember who Ntate Thabo Mofutsenyane is or was. It is after him that our second democratically elected president, Babu Thabo Mbeki, was named after. We request the wisdom of both Ntate Thabo Mofutsenyane and Uomgav, the father to Thabo Mbeki, to guide us as we navigate the uncharted waters. We are told that Ntate Thabo Mofutsenyane was an orator par excellence. He wrote books, and above all, he was Comrade Govan Mbeki's role model. I believe that we all remember that the two African intellectuals lived very long until some of us could see them. Ntate Thabo Mofutsenyane lived until 95, whilst Ntate Mbeki lived until 2002. When we read about them or hear stories of their lives, we cannot doubt but admire who they were and still represent us wherever they are. I remember in the year 2008, in the month of April, the provincial government erected the bust of state of Ntate Thabo Mofutsenyane at the district offices named after him, the district office of the municipality. At that time, we're also celebrating the 20th anniversary of the 20th day battle of Quito Carnival, which bequeathed us on the freedom of South Africa as a family of nations. And these giant leaders, flowing from them and their great work, we have seen an exponential growth of art and production, and many writers rose. Ekendo Archie Krog, Van Vrystaat, Bore, Heer, and Kroonstad, a name derogatory which we must still change. Her literature career started in 1970, the height of John Foster apartheid years. She wrote an anti-apartheid poem titled Meimoy Land for her second and her highest school magazine, Literature. Her first volume of the poem is Dr. van Jafta, was published at the age of 17. Her poetry is often autobiographical, involving reflection on love and the responsibility of artists. And since the 80s, has often dealt with radical and gender politics. She was a few of her literature pieces, and most of her work was given to scholars and learners, because one of a famous poems, Ma, written for a mom, which I want to quote my favorite part, Net Swimmer and Kalfoot Geteg. This is an emphasis of a poet just laying herself bare with passion for a mother. Yes, however, this also shows how pure creativity that inspires writers to be. Even in the most of simplest things, a lot can be said. She further said, Waar swart en wit hand aan hand, verse en liefde kan bring een mooi land. As a black South African, there's certain comfort and encouragement that the brilliant Archie Krog brings forth in this poem. This poem was written in a very controversial time in our country. It is true when they say art is a depiction of life, because Anchi, a 17-year-old, rose and wrote for the encouragement of people. When I speak about exponential development of artists, I speak about Charlotte Madiepetsanalobi, who wrote a very moving book, My Father, My Hero, My Zero. I speak about Tsietsi Magele, a young boy, prolific writer from dusty streets of Botshabelo, and a great poet. I speak about Flexman Kopane, who was known or dubbed as the father of literature in Mangaung, Bloemfontein. I speak about Moses Alphonse Kau, who's a servant of this government, who wrote a number of books, and the one I want to refer is a South African national symbol, holidays, and their significance to historical evolution. But I also want to speak, not least but last, about Ntate K. Intsane, who wrote lots of poets and wrote lots of books. And I love the poem he wrote about Lerato, La Dipompo. This depicts and echoes same writings of revolutionaries like Che Guevara, who wrote that revolutionaries must have a deep sense of love. I'm encouraged by the programs and budget you have outlined, Comrade Maki. I think this budget go a long way in changing the lives of our people. It deals with different departments in your bigger departments. It deals with sports, it deals with arts, it deals with culture, it deals with recreation. And this is the true reflection. You are actually actualizing the Freedom Charter when it says the doors of learning and culture shall be open to all. And in particular, I need to quote two expressions under that document. The first one that says the government shall discover, develop and encourage national talent for the enhancement of our national culture. And our national culture, in my own expression, is Ubuntu Butu. Rata wa heno jwalo ka o ithata. And the second one is the color bar in the cultural life of sports and in education shall be abolished. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the African National Congress is excited that this budget gives hope to the hopeless of the Free Staters, gives hope to the young people with full of talent, full of skill, full of knowledge. And by virtue of filling these vacant positions, we know that you are going to fulfill all the APPs you have outlined today. Even if there might be different views in the debates, but the truth remains, this government has made a change in the lives of our people. It will continue to do so. It is our mission. It is a vision of the African National Congress, and that vision is the vision we intend to live for.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ngangisa. Honorable Klute, you may address the House.
Dankie, ding speaker. Dalk moet ek begin net erkenning gee aan die LER. Onlangs 'n vraag na gevra en ek het 'n antwoord gekry. Die vraag was of die departement vanjaar gaan aan in die ou presidentsie, na baie reën daar en agbare LER, baie dankie vir die erkenning wat jy ook gee aan die ou presidentsie. We see the commitment by the department is noted and welcome. By the way, there is a lot of information about the effect of the Anglo-Boer War on black people at the Women's Memorial. I think you should visit it because there's really a lot of information. And yes, that is a war we fought side by side, Honorable Nyangisa. Sometimes I wonder what happened. It's also good to hear we are adding monuments and statues and not taking away. Maar Speaker, ons moet praat oor verlede jaar en Makufe. Nou verlede week het die nuwe LER vir die STEA weer ophef gemaak oor die oppositie se knaandheid met Makufe. Maar hy vergeet dat hy self op die openbare rekeningkomitee gedien het, nogal as voorsitter, waar ons bitter min antwoorde gekry het. Sy innuendo dat ons mense van die provinsie van 'n kultuur ontneem for much less if they were aware of the changes to the tender requirements. The department acted thus maliciously in awarding C-Squared the tender without giving other companies the opportunity to amend the tenders. Thankfully, we have courts, and the judgment in this regard was damning. The judge found the awarding of Makufe 22 tender to C-Squared to be unlawful. The service level agreement between the private entity and the Free State Department of Arts and Culture was thus struck down. Speaker, the playing field was not level, but hey, for the ANC, all tenderers are created equal, some just more. And what followed were more lawsuits that could have been prevented if it were not for the ANC's obsession with some service provider. Makufe for the ANC is about tenders, not about the people as they would like to make people believe. And we are still waiting for that service level agreement in public accounts. This matter is far from being closed. At least the Hawks are currently investigating Makufe and what transpired. That's why every year we will ask questions about Makufe that remains the department's tender trap, or rather tender tap, to the benefit of only a few. Cheap politics by the ANC will not defer us from fulfilling our oversight with millions all again to be spent this year. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Klute. Honorable MEC Letsoa Matai may address the House. Order, honorable members. Order. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, honorable members of the Executive, Chief Whip of our majority, honorable members, the leader of the opposition party, traditional leaders, Batlileng Kasheku Marena Rona, Mafumahadi, different media houses. Kinkia monyetla ona hobane ke bone ntate Mokotso ha e bontsha le teng ke re ro hlomphile monga sebaka ebile pele ke qala ke re ha batho ba hopola bontata rona moholo le ba fitileng le nna ke kinke monyetla ona ke hopola e mongwe ke leng ya ba lesole la rona mona e leng Comrade Abiel Mokotso. May his soul continue to rest in peace. Madam Speaker, the month of April is marked by historic events in the calendar of the Republic of South Africa. The country saw its first democratic elections on the 27th April 1994. Millions of our people casted their vote for the first time and declared to the world that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, as stipulated in the Freedom Charter and our Constitution Act 108 of 1996. It is therefore befitting that we are ushered into the Freedom Month celebrations by making few reflections on the road traveled thus far. Sports have played a significant role in nation building and promoting social cohesion in our country. Over the past 29 years, our country has made great progress in transforming and developing sports. Ours is a constitutional democracy with one of the best constitutions in the world that provides for the rule of law, protection and promotion of human rights. We have all important institutions in place that are fully independent and play the role without fear or favor.
which makes our democracy flourish, and that is why we are so proud of our young democracy. This year also marks the 5th anniversary since the departure in this land of the living, our audacious mother of the nation, who has made huge contribution in the struggle for liberation, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who played exemplary and servanthood leadership as our liberation icon, should always be remembered for the sacrifices made for our freedom. Mama Winnie, if she was still with us, it was going to excite her when she realized that we remain resolute to the ideals she fought and stood for in building our democracy. Mama was revered by many, young and old. She inspired many with her fearless and courageous character. Indeed, she led from the front by internalizing critical values of leadership and the true meaning of Ubuntu. Madam Speaker, the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation plays an important role in our society. Under the dark days of colonial apartheid, sports have been one of the instruments used to fight oppressive regime. The struggle against apartheid sports started in the 1950s with the formation of a committee for international recognition, which was formed by non-racial sportsmen in 1955 and was succeeded by the South African Sports Association in 1958. South African Non-Racial Olympics Committee in 1963 came into being and fought against racism in sports and pressed for international recognition of the non-racial sports bodies in South Africa. With these forms, South African sportsmen waged a war against John Foster regime. The liberation we are enjoying today, we thank the political activists in sports. Mema Hassan, we draw inspiration from these noble South Africans to work hard and accelerate our pace in delivering quality service to our people. Indeed, with the work that the ANC-led government has done and will continue to do, we are confident that under your stewardship in this department, sporting and recreation facilities are getting the necessary attention. Honourable members, sports can have huge spin-offs. Ours is to encourage young and old to be active in different sporting codes. School sports, as mentioned by Mayor Mahasa, is a good initiative that must be supported by the government and communities. Through this program of rural sports, talented sportsmen and women, particularly the youth, can be uncovered. Once this talent is identified, the department must have a way of cultivating and developing it up to the level of professionalism. We know the investment that we are putting in constructing world-class facilities in most towns of the Free State. We know that the people of Free State will welcome this pleasing news from your department, MEC. A caring ANC-led government is hard at work to deliver on the mandate given by the people of the Free State. However, what is worrying, honourable members, is a spate of vandalism of recreational facilities in our communities. At some point, we must pay attention to this matter. As MEC responsible for community safety, in partnership with municipalities, we must find a way of protecting public facilities by establishing and reviving community safety forums. We shouldn't be seen as helpless when taxpayers' money goes down the drain. Millions and millions are being spent to have these recreational amenities. Therefore, as the government, together with our communities, we have a responsibility to stop this senseless behavior. Madam Speaker, indeed, this is a budget that is intended at addressing the needs of our people. We strongly believe in the leadership of this institution to do all in their power to commit funds allocated to them wisely with the sole purpose of benefiting the people of the Free State. In keeping with the words and instructions of our Premier, Datem Mxolisi Dukwana, when pleaded with us to work for the people of the Free State and nothing else. Ours is to adhere to these wise words from our Premier and move from the understanding that the people of the Free State deserve better. Honourable members, adding to the clarion call of our organization, the party that has mandated us to stand on this podium, it has instructed all of us to prioritize the needs of our people and put aside petty issues that distracts us from saving our people. We must protect good ideas by our predecessors. Makufe is one of the Free State flagship initiatives that must not be compromised. It's a pity, honorable member, perhaps also can rejoin Makufe and see that it's not all about tenders, but this is also about economy of this province. So, I have a little later, the bull what, le rona we got Makufe, a re be motlotlo ka Makufe wa rona ro protect. E mong le mong o tseba culture ena e bua ka setso sa rona ke tsela eo re thabang ka yona ena. So ke kopa o ska e nyenyefatsa, honorable member, re o emetse le rona public accounts to explain ourselves, because re kolota setjhaba sena tlhaloso. O ska tlo re tshosetsa pela setjhaba hore o re emetse. Le rona re ready to serve, because it's part of our responsibility to appear in those committees. Those committees are not called, but ke di committees tse leng hore ke molao wa re tlama hore re itlalehe ho tsona. It's not your committee as opposition. We are accountable to that. When Makufe started in 1997, many wouldn't believe that it will attract such interest. Every year when it is hosted, people across South Africa and in the continent, they want to be part of Makufe, except yourself. Today we are informed that Makufe is one of the biggest African cultural events on the continent. So statistics show that over 140 patrons take part during Makufe, coming from different sectors of our society, economic activities such as tourism, street vendors. But ba una molemo Makufe, ka ntle ho wena hobane ha le batle le ho tla, le tlo bona. Ho ya ka di report tse re di fumana, Makufe o sebetsa hantle. Member Hassan and your team, despite difficulties you are confronted with under this period, we salute your resilience and patience in addressing some of the challenges brought to your attention on the huge interest in Makufe. This is one of the biggest provincial government projects whereby business community will do everything to flex its muscles and maximize profit. The ANC-led government must empower the people of the Free State during during events such as this. However, we must also be cautious and guard against those who want to take advantage at the expense of this genuine development agenda that the department is pursuing. Makufe is one of the important provincial government brands. We cannot afford to tarnish its image. Our colleagues in this department must insist on compliance of PFMA and other prescripts of the law to avoid unnecessary litigations. Dropping the ball must never be an option. Makufe is the pride of our provincial government and the people of the Free State. Free State performing and creative arts through Mangaung Cultural Festival Makufe continue to benefit in the form of music, drama, films, etc. However, many of our people have raised some concerns about the festival. As a result, the department is prepared to deal with any bottlenecks in unlocking opportunities and untouched talent. We believe a space must be created for stakeholders' engagements with a view of strengthening and growing this cultural festival in the best interest of all the people of the Free State. Member Hassa, we are aware that artists and small business are being exploited by greedy business people during this period as well. They are struggling to get their payments on time, but ba rona ba lefuwe. Jwale nna ne ke tla kopa fela hore re mpane re tle ka metjha e tla reng pele re patala the main service provider, the amount ya e kolotwang kaofela re dumelane ka percentage hore ho fihlela o patala bana ba banyenyane ba sebeditseng mona ha ro fe tjhelete ya o e felletse, but that's where our challenge is so far. The Free State Provincial Government led by Datem Kolisi Dukwan has established an open door policy for creative industry. The department and this administration will always be available to listen and address your concerns for as long as they are reasonable. This budget vote seeks to cater and address your needs as the industry. Madam Speaker, this August House needs to note the initiative led by the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation and various stakeholders in a bid to declare Vryhoek Church, a birthplace of the African National Congress, as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Leona halesoka le fihla ho yona. We support the initiative to protect and preserve all historic sites and museums across the province as budgeted by the department. As a member of the ANC and a leader of the ANC Women's League, we are proud to also indicate that the Women's League launched its national program at the same venue, Vryhoek, the Lillian Ngoyi Brigades. Madam Speaker, as a government, we are satisfied with the progress taking place at Winnie Madikizela Mandela town, previously known as Brantford. We are hoping in the future, Makufe will overlap or dedicate a day to profile and promote Winnie Madikizela Mandela Museum. The people of Winnie Madikizela Mandela town and the community of South Africa, through this concept, will be able to be more informed about the life and times of this great heroine of our struggle. The ANC-led government does understand and appreciate the role played by this towering giant of our liberation movement. A monument of history has been installed in this area. Mama Winnie Madikizela Museum will forever remain an important legacy and heritage that must be cherished by future generations in remembrance of hard-won freedom. Madam Speaker, we support Mayor Mahasa in her department to advocate and advance the aspiration of the people of the Free State. The People's Parliament, African National Congress, declared this year a year of decisive action to advance the people's interest and renew our movement. We dare not fail the people of the Free State. We must roll up our sleeves and our hands on deck. Honorable members, we need to applaud the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture for spending the allocation conditional grant on the intended mission. Mass participation and sports development grant are one of those examples whereby expenditure is always at 90%. Madam Honorable Premier and honorable members, it has been declared a year of decisive action. As this members of this House, we must not spare any effort to act against the municipalities who are not even spending the allocated money in terms of the programs that are shared with them. I thank you so much. Bana, ba, Tari Enso, Haremen Kamauto, and support one another. Reskarabamela Batwabatlangudia, Ditoro Zarona Lesetso Saron. Amen.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Chabalala, you may address the House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Commissars and Fighters, Honorable Members, Borena Boteng, distinguished guests, Hai Sokwakwa, Tabadi Mahlwa, ke re kgotsong. Let me express my deepest gratitude to the mighty July movement for having confided in me this deployment, and I dare not fail nor betray the oath I took in this very august house during my swearing in. Those with wisdom will tell you that if once you forfeit the confidence of your fellow citizens, you can never regain their respect and esteem. Honorable Speaker, life missions are the key aspects of your life that make it worth living. Fulfilling this mission is what gives your life meaning, joy, and completeness. A life mission can be fulfilled, a goal or dream. Hence, the below statement is of cardinal importance as depicted in the Department of Sport, Art, Culture and Recreation website. To cut to the chase, Madam Speaker, for one to achieve their goal in the pursuit of one's excellence, commitment, and vigor as a department, one needs to walk the walk and talk the talk when it comes to this budget votes, more especially the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture, and Recreation. The Free State DSACR's mandate is very straightforward when one sparingly focuses on the following, particularly creating of an enabling environment for social cohesion and nation building, establishing structures of civil society to improve level of governance and administration within sport, arts, culture, and recreation. Implementation inclusive programs that enhance and retain Free State talent and capacity within sport, arts, culture, and recreation, as well as ensuring developmental pathways towards healthy lifestyles and excellence, promoting intra and inter-participation and cooperation within all spheres of government, promoting sports, arts, culture and recreation tourism within and into the Free State province. Honorable MEC, this House should be able to first zoom into the 2022-2023 financial year wherein 546.7 million made its way to your departmental coffers. It is true what they say that birds of the same feathers flock together, and we are here without any hesitation. You see, these budget votes should not be confused for learner license self-test, but they should robustly and honestly be scrutinized and be deliberated upon so that the people who mandated us could be able to tick those boxes for us. Let us not take baby steps starting from where the Treasury said that you will receive an amount of 632.328 million for 2023-24. Of importance to note are the following. Program 1, Administration and Financial Management. The department received an allocation of 107.6 million, which we then can wonder if all the money that is not used does go back to the coffers of the government, or it gets used for some reasons or the other. One of the main activities that are claimed to be hosted by the department, which is Makufe, did happen as we cannot rely on the cancellation due to COVID-19, is not there anymore. How much was spent on the event, and was the event a success or not? If not, what other event as a department can be used to replace this one, as we cannot write a falling activity wanting to better our province, yet everything is a failure. Furthermore, besides the failed implementation due to the scapegoat COVID-19, like the open-air outdoor cinema and outdoor open-air musical and cultural festival, what happened to the budgeted money, or was it returned? And what other implementations are going to be put forward moving forward that will better our province? Program 2, which is Cultural Affairs. The department receives an allocation of 132.5 million. As I have pressed on the issue that we cannot be blaming COVID-19 even now and as public servants, we took an oath to look after the interest of the people above all. What was the benefit of Makufe that was hosted in the district to the people of the province? The department also outlined artists that needed financial help during COVID-19. Can we see the list of them and the money they were given, as books cannot be closed if the number in the books do not add up to the money that was allocated? What is the progress with the remaining of the town, Brantford, and the MTEF performance targets that were put in place? Program 3, which is Library and Archive Services. The department received an allocation of 252.5 million. As libraries plays an important role in the advancement of education in our communities, what efforts were made to further ensure that people can access libraries and archive services? What is the update of the libraries that were supposed to be built? What programs are there to make reading fashionable in our communities, as the allocation specifically for this program is so high. Furthermore, for accountability purposes, I would like to see the expenditure for this program because its allocation does not make sense with the written things on the program. Sports and recreation. The department received an allocation of 173 million as the restrictions for stadium attendance was placed, and a soccer club in the province making people to not attend the games like they used to. What is the department going to do to issue that province has a big team that can compete in the PSL? Also, which youth development centers are there to assist the youth talent to be able to make it? There was a claim that indoor sports centers were going to be built. When and where are they? Nedi Tlameha, our Kronstadt, Frankfurt and Smithfield. Can evidence be provided for the school sports program and sports science? For the MTF period implementations, can the MEC account for the developments on a monthly basis, because the people must know what is happening to every cent that is allocated for any activity or event. In conclusion, as there are newly appointed MECs and officials to an extent, maybe can we behave differently and be transparent and serve the people of this province and be honest in the business of running this province, because most of the youth are unemployed. There are no spaces or places they can go to develop their talents. Crime is high and people are losing their lives as if it is fashionable. In essence, let us have a responsibility and work hard towards servicing our province and ensure that every department and its directorate use the money allocated to the benefit of the people and province. The EFF has got a message for you because we are acting at an advisory capacity. Be your own cheerleader in every endeavor if you are destined to succeed in your task that you would achieve without fear, favor, or prejudice. Honorable member, we are a living proof. They came and now they are gone, but all of them fit the descriptions of one French scholar by the name of Jean-François Bayat when he referred to their commitment and intentions, la politique du ventre. Madam MEC, we want to believe that your wish to be de-associated with those who cause is that of conducting the politics of the stomach, even when the prison doors were shouting. Sesotho se re, e bona mahe ha e bone lerata. O mametse hantle. Our youth cries could be heard from the dusty streets of the Free State. Our child-headed household plight is falling on deaf ears. Our graduate hope is fading into drug heaven. Sports is very essential for every human life, which keeps them fit and fine and physical strength. It has great importance in each stage of life. It also improves the personality of people. Sports keeps our all organs alert and our hearts become stronger by regularly playing some kind of sports. Our commitment and dedication can deliver all these not so difficult objectives with a snap of a finger, colleagues, lest you be accused and get punished by the very society that you have been fooling for the past 29
Thank you,
years.
Honorable Member. Your time is up.
I thank you.
Honorable MEC Goloi.
Motsamaisi wa dipuisano e re ke seke ka senya nako ke ananele boteng ba hao le ketapele ka ditulo tsa bona ke re protocol observed empa ka o qoleha ke rata hore ke ananele marena teng ebile ke ba lebohe hobane letsatsing la kajeno re bua ka tsena tsa sports arts and culture mo ene le hore nakong e fetileng re ne re ile mane ho bona mme ra fumana ba phuthile bana ba banana ka cultural group ena bona e bitswang ka hore ke Indoni ho bontsha hore marena a rona lona kene ka setotswana mesebetsing ena eo lefapha la sports arts and culture e etsang mme re rata ho leboha marena a rona ka hara Freistata kaofela ha bona. Motsamaisi wa dipuisano wa tshosa ebile wa makatsa ho na le ntate a qadile mona na ba re ke ntate Klute e sala ya melletse makhufe ha ona any input ntate Klute a tlileng ka yona ke dumela hore ha kgutlela morao constituency ya elo moleleka hobane ntate Klute bana ba rona ba batho ba batsho le ba lona ba batho ba basweu mathata bana ba rona ba na lona a o kena dithethefatsing bana ba rona ba dinyaopeng early teenage pregnancy even le bana ba batho ba basweu bana le pharela eo empa o tla mona e salong ka nako kaofela o senya nako o tlo bua ka makhufe wa ba wa fellwa le ke nako. Hona le sebui se seng hape se buile mona a re ke fighter e sale a botsa dipotso ho tloha a qala ho fihlela qetellong ha se portfolio committee mona sebaka sena ke budget vote ona lokela hore fighter a tle mona a tlo bolela hore na yena o paysa ka eng ya ba o emelletse MEC Mahasa o mo botsa dipotso ke ipotsa gona jwale ha ya portfolio o lo etsa eng fighter ke ipiletsa ho speaker hore a kenye ena re bitsa ka hore ke induction bakeng sa ba bang ba maloko a rona a legislature. Without any waste of time, Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank Honorable MEC Mahasa for delivering an excellent budget vote speech today. Jwalo ka se ke tsholo ke ga se portfolio committee mona. She is to be congratulated on her firm, clear stance on many critical issues affecting our society and outlining plans to address such challenges. Allow me to consider the following aspects. Sports as a catalyst for social cohesion. Honorable Speaker, apart from directly achieving healthiness of the society, sports remains significantly important in fostering social cohesion in our country. We all bear testimony to how over the years South Africans have forgotten all the things that have caused divisions and frictions and have come together as one through sports. Sports has been consistently celebrated as an avenue for fostering social change, curing various social ills, and uniting South Africans across the divides of race, class, gender, and geography. The argument for using sport to foster social cohesion rests on two main assumptions. Firstly, that direct participation in sport and physical activity promotes sustained communication, collaboration, and understanding across social divides. And secondly, Honorable Speaker, that the success of national teams and athletes promotes national pride and unity. The claim that sport can function to foster social change and cohesion has wide international support and is repeated in the sport policy documents of various nation states, intergovernmental organizations such as the United Nations, as well as numerous non-governmental organizations. By integrating these ideas as Free State, we can build the same cohesive society that is a driver for both development and peace. A few key indicators as provincial government we should collectively continue to improve are the following, Honorable Speaker. Local infrastructure and activities, encouraging sports in schools, sports and ensuring gender equality and participation. reinforcement of the sports and association networks for broader inclusion, good governance and strategy for the sector. Studies have shown that sport is important in promoting positive relationships, trust, solidarity, common purpose and collectivism amongst people of different culture, race and creed in South Africa. We know the spirit that prevails during rugby and soccer matches in our province. The provincial cultural activities hosted by or in partnership with the Department of Sports are also critical towards building a cohesive and united society in our province. Madam Speaker, sports as catalyst for reduction of social ills. Jwalo ka ha se ke buile ke re, other members ba tla mona ha o tlile rona ba ntse ba reng, yet our province is faced with serious social ills. Batjheng ba rona mo e leng hore it must be a collective effort of the entire leadership in the legislature to address these social ills within the province. Allow me to indicate that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Rising crime rates, substance abuse, as well as gender-based violence can largely be attributed to the inactiveness and idleness of young people, Memahasa. We now have more young people in our correctional and substance abuse rehabilitation center. And I'm urging honorable members, how challenged our young people are within the province. There are social ills within the province. It is therefore more important to ensure that recreational facilities are made available in our province where young people can partake in different sporting courses to strengthen life skills. Sports can be used as an instrument to engage young people, to keep them active, Memahasa, and to make them more resilient to crime, drug use, and violence. If strategically combined with life skills training, community mobilization, and other youth empowerment activities, sports can significantly reduce the social ills and challenges we are facing as a province and also as a country. The state has a major